In the deep, dark hills on the island of Cuba, that's the place where I trace my bloodline. And it was there I once learned from an old Wahito. You can't leave one fucking commie alive. Tonight, you are on LSD. That's right, not the mind-altering substance that will allow you to commune with a higher power and to more easily understand the people around you in your community. No, you're on the Lonely Screen Delicatessen. You're with me and my boy, the Pinoy Boy Toy. And tonight we have a very special guest that we've both been extremely excited about. I don't know if you could tell by my pace and candor. Tonight we have the only Cuban besides myself that I will call the Cuban eating a Reuben. Okay, the Italian shaped like a portly stallion myself. We have Andrew Alonso, to me, one of the most exciting frontmen that I have seen in the last 5 years. The energy that this guy brings to a show, if you have an opportunity to go see Sons of a Tradesman, fucking go. If it's going to cause a fight with your wife, go. If you got to leave your kid at home alone,
just do it.
Go if you got to walk, bitch, because the first time I saw you, bro, was at Barkback. And Morrison told me, and Marlon told me, hey, when you get a chance, when these guys go on, go peep their shit. Because I had been out of the loop for a while, just got back into the music scene with Mike. And he was like, you don't know him? He's Cuban. And I was like, motherfucker, fuck you. How do I know every Cuban? It's a big island. And I go out to watch this motherfucker blow down the field. It was tremendous. I enjoyed. That was literally, and I literally am out there with all my friends, watching all my friends do what I love watching them do. And that was my favorite performance of the night, outside of my own, which I am not usual to say. And fucking, I was just blown away by not only you, the whole band is fucking so tight,
dude,
and so
they kill
phenomenal.
It.
And
thank you, man.
Every time.
And the vibe that you guys have too, personally, the few of you that I've had a chance to meet is been splendid, man. I've really enjoyed. And so thank you for being here with us tonight.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, man. That's a hell of a fucking plug. Are we done now?
Right,
That's
it. We're good.
That's it.
We're good.
Fuck, man.
Have a good night.
My Instagram only fits 1 minute videos.
The engine is warm, baby. The engine is warm. But yeah, so tonight, I mean, the thing I wanted to talk about more than anything else, we talked about this briefly the other night, Mike and I. The racial situation in our country right now, I've resigned myself to a certain position of never going to understand. I grew up in a Cuban family where you have like a tío blanco and a tío negro and everybody in between. I grew up in a situation where race was never used as anything more than a descriptor. I mean, mi hijo blanco, mi hijo negro, my cousin who's, you know, my morenito cousin, my negro cousin, my blanquito cousin. And the only difference is they call you blanquito if you burn in the sun and moreno or negro for anything else. That's it.
Yeah, for anything else.
And so for me, I had to realize this year living in Atlanta that everybody else in the country outside of the Latin American group, you're black or you're white in a lot of places. So for us, we have so many different distinctions. We have so many different bonds through culture and understandings through culture where we identify, I think, more culturally than we do physically, racially. And so like for me, looking at my family, I have a brother who's Andrew, who's your color, you know what I'm saying, who's your shade. I got a sister who's lighter than me. I'm right in the middle where I look red if I'm fucking pale and I look brown if I'm fucking tan. And I don't know what it means anymore, so I stopped trying to fucking figure it out. I listen to my friends on both sides of the issue. I listen to my friends on both sides of the idea. I listen to my black friends who lean right and my black friends who lean left. My white friends who lean left, who are the most militant motherfuckers, and my white friends who lean right, who are just like, I just don't want to be called racist. And so I'm at the point now where I'm like, oh, bro, I'm a spick, and I'm on that spick shit. I grew up in Hialeah in Hollywood, Florida. I don't fucking know.
You'll fight till I die.
That's it. I don't know. I don't know what that shit is, and I'm done trying to figure it out. I support my friends' feelings when they feel hurt. I support my friends' feelings when they feel scared. I show love. And also, I think I don't walk around with that guilt because I'm living righteous. If one of my boys who was black was being accosted by a cop, I would take the ride with him because I'd be busting shots.
Yeah.
That's the difference, I think, between a lot of these people that we even know in our own circles who they don't have that righteousness every day. So they're like, trying to create it in their mind.
You said though, like that even when like your black friends, when they talk about something like this, they're not towing the outrage line. They're not like using old or questionable racial moment to phantom toe the line, you know.
Well, I'll tell you this. I can't speak for the younger generation, but black people my age, the people I know, they don't trust the government just as much as we don't trust the fucking
Yeah. But I'm saying,
so
like,
that's who's telling us everything.
Theirs is more of a personal thing when, like, the whole Black Lives Matter thing is happening, you know. It's when
Daniil was on, he said it best. It was like there's a bad relationship that ended a long time ago, but they're still in the same friend group, and they don't know how to deal with each other.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, like, the difference between people of any race towing the outrage culture line and like our friends. Well, no, it doesn't matter, like, white, black, Spanish, Asian. Like, I feel like the people that we surround ourselves with, they're not, like I said, they're not towing that line. When they're upset about something, like you said, we'll listen to them, and we're listening to them because they're not, like, word for word saying, like, the Black Lives Matter.
They're talking about their own personal
yeah. They're talking about their own thing, yeah. And, like, and I feel like that's the difference between the people that we associate with. And I feel like everybody should try to either be like that or associate with more people like that. And the more you do that, the less this stuff will affect you on, like, a personal or subconscious level even. Yeah. You know, like, you won't get as mad about it. It's all about, like, surrounding yourself with the right people. Let all those people that want to yell at each other and fight at each other in large groups go fucking do it. And then
when they give them a state like Utah or some shit.
Dude, when they all kill themselves, when they all kill each other, you know who's going to be left? The free thinking, regular people. Yeah, man.
You've been eating a Reuben, baby. That's it. That's what it is.
I realized that I didn't have a piece of paper, and I think about stuff while you talk.
Dude, yeah.
No worries.
Because of my incessant weed smoking, I forget.
Yo, he's Filipino and I'm Cuban. We're not going nowhere fast.
Bro.
Oh, Bill, you want to hear the funniest Filipino story I have?
Do it.
Yes.
Do it. I love it.
So I was working at Respectables. God bless Respectables. And shout out to my buddy Marcus Core. I love him dearly. If anybody knows Marcus, it's my fucking boy. But I was working at Respectables, and I had the pleasure of working the door for a while, which is where I got to test a lot of my best comedy material.
Okay. Right on.
And, like, this dude and this girl come to the club one night. It was like a Friday night, and I think he was like 22, 23. She was about the same, and it was their first date. So, like, I look at her license, and she was from, like, North Dakota or some shit. And I was like, who the fuck is from North Dakota? And she's like, oh, that's where my family's from. And he's like, actually, you know what? The boy says to the girl he's on a date with, he's like, where are you from, by the way? And she's like, North Dakota. And he's like, no, you know, like, you don't know progression, where your family from. Yeah. And she was like, I don't feel comfortable answering that. I don't think that's a first date type of thing.
Really?
And I was like, oh, it's like a third date kind of thing. And I was like, look, I'll start.
What?
I'll start. I'm Cuban. I know I look like I run a mosque, but I'm Cuban. And I was like, what about you, bro? To the dude. And he goes, well, my dad is Mexican and my mom is Japanese. And I was like, oh, you're Filipino. And he didn't.
Accurate.
That's fucking hilarious.
And then they left. So I don't.
They left. He didn't laugh.
Now see, that's the exact thing
God.
that we're missing now that our grandparents and our parents had. I remember growing up with my grandfather he worked in a garage in Sears, and his whole crew was all different guys.
Sears.
Yo, right? And he was a fucking 35-year mechanic, never missed a day of work. One of those cut from the old cloth motherfuckers. And he fucking, all his friends shit on each other. They called him a dumb dago, and he called fucking his best friend Galvan was Cuban. He was like, dude, this fucking wetback. And fucking with me, he would take me around places and in pride be like, can you get a load of this fucking kid of mine? He's the biggest wetback I ever saw in my fucking life. And with love. And he has Dominican grandchildren and Cuban grandchildren and all whatever the fuck you have when you're in Florida. And fucking loved us all good. Never had but said all the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but never any malice. Everybody of every color at our table. We brought a homeboy with dreads and a homeboy with beards and a homeboy with tats. They're all eating manigat at the fucking table. And we lost that. We lost that ability to have that open.
We did lose that, bro. And you want to know? It's good. To me, it's like, I'll preface before I started drinking and smoking, which, by the way, I didn't drink or smoke until we started because I wanted to log the progression. Yeah, cheers, man. Cheers. And we'll go through what everyone's drinking.
I'm just drinking coffee right now. Smoking weed and weed.
It's all right, bro. I'll drink for you. I'll drink.
Yeah, drink for me. I got to run the board and make sure I manage the comments. Also, while he's gone, Lucifer Ramos said El Dominicano, and Fred Haas said sweet shirt, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My crazy Uncle Mike shirt, bro.
Woo.
I love that
In honor
place.
of our guest, for sure. Because I cannot let a man drink alone, especially another Cuban.
Oh, bro. You already know I'm drinking rum.
Aquí lo tengo, bro.
I got the aguardiente. Look, it looks like dark rum, too.
That's right, baby. That dark black.
Well,
Yeah, bro. I'm drinking Black Core.
Black as Celia Cruz and twice as creamy.
Right here from West Palm Beach, 561. Shout out to my boy Harry Tess.
This was actually a gift to me from one of my best friends in the world, Tommy Donuts.
Oh, man, I
it's
have
a
to.
fucking Nuka-Cola dark rum from fucking the Fallout video game series.
Oh,
nice.
I love Fallout.
That's my
I know.
shit, bro.
Of course you guys. Of course you guys love.
That's why I'm ready for the end, bro. I've
Yes.
been playing
You
games
guys
since
want the end.
2007. I'm ready, bro.
Dude, this Asian guy over here is like, I
Nah,
hope we don't
man,
lose air
no.
conditioning.
Fucking no,
Air
bro.
conditioning, bro, from South Florida. I was made to
I'm
lose
ready
air
for the
conditioning.
vault, bro.
I'm
My
from-
balls are designed for steam.
See, here's the crazy thing. Like, I get along with you guys, and I totally agree with you guys on almost, like, every, like, political and social issue. I'm a fucking half white, half Filipino from Northern California. Like, I shouldn't have, like, any similar viewpoints to you at all.
You grew up
Especially-
around too many people that were
Yeah.
like that. That's what it is, and you start to see.
Dude,
'cause look,
no, but they weren't
nobody
even
will
that
shit on a
bad.
Cuban harder than a Cuban at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
But they weren't
No
even
one will
that
show
bad
love.
when I was growing up. I'm the same age as you guys. 80s and 90s in California was not what it was now. I saw the
But you
beginning
grew up
of
in
it.
NorCal, right?
Yeah, NorCal is much better. But
NorCal,
that's
NorCal's more
totally
working
different.
Class. NorCal,
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
NorCal, bro.
Dude, that's
yeah, NorCal's Stockton and above. That's people who work
and
for
that's
money.
I was literally born in the same hospital as one of the Diaz brothers like a
Right.
month before him. Like that's
Nice,
where
bro.
I'm from. I'm fucking from
So can you
Stockton,
fight?
bro. No,
you
I
fight?
can bite people. I'm much bigger than most people. And people will like want to fight me and I used to wrestle in high school and middle school and I can get real close and keep myself safe and then I just start biting people.
Bro,
my
you
teeth
tell me,
are all
you
fucked
tell
up,
me.
bro.
You tell me you were born next to the Diaz brothers, bro. I want to
Yeah,
fight
no,
your
no.
ass too.
No. Here's the difference. We were born in the same hospital, but like there's a wing named after my grandfather in that hospital because we were like the wealthy family. We lived in like the one good part of town,
It
right?
makes me want to fight you too, man.
I know, right? That's the other thing too.
Well, see,
Everybody's
that
like, yeah,
goes
man. I got all
to the
the
Cuban thing.
take my
You're
money.
raised by people who had an experience where their whole world ended and changed.
Yeah.
And did your parents come directly from the island?
No,
Mine-
no. It was my
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm talking to Andrew. Did your parents come straight from Cuba?
My mom did. My dad
mom
was
did?
born here.
Okay, so my father came straight from Cuba. He came from the country, Isabela de Sagua, like way out in the fucking boonies. And so to have that guy who had that experience at a young age and for him to come here as a young man and then go straight to Vietnam, like that shit makes a crazy dude. And just going through a revolution in a young age and then add that to whatever you already have in the culture, like that machismoso, whatever kind of shit. In a Cuban culture, like we all, in my family, all the men boxed up until me. I was the last generation that boxed and had a job, like it was your job, you know what I'm saying? Like it was a family business. And then you have the
bro.
next phase is my brother Mario, who you know.
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah.
My brother Mario's a great dude, but
He's
my
more like
father's
me.
He's my father's last
Yeah.
litter. That's what we say in like all the kids. He's the last litter that he had. So the old man's balls were kind of empty and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Aw.
So
Aw, I
haven't.
love
You know,
that dude.
I love my brother,
He's
bro.
the
He's
best.
one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah.
But also, you
A
know what
little
I'm
soft.
saying?
I can understand how he's a little
You know,
soft. Yeah,
and I say it too.
Like-
You know,
but
look,
I
I'm a
mean-
little dumb. It's all relative.
But no,
you know what I'm
honestly-
saying? I got
honest-
a fat dick and a low IQ. I can't
No.
do what I do.
But honestly, I feel like he's only like soft in comparison to your family. I still think
Fair.
even
Fair.
like
Fair.
compared
Fair.
to, I feel like if something weird happened where him and all of his friends,
He would defend himself or protect himself.
no,
for sure.
I mean like if they all had to fight each other for some reason, he'd be
Oh,
like,
he'd win.
he'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry guys, you guys
You're talking about
don't
that
know
crew of dudes,
violence.
He'd have like ears and hearts on a fucking chain.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
literally, like they'd be like,
Because
I
he
don't
was
know what
never
violence
violent, but
is.
He was always violent adjacent. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
but that's the whole thing. Like, they would be like, I don't know what violence is. And he'd be like, well, I'm sorry, but if it's me or you, I'm going to show you what it... Like, he he is capable of it. His friends are most definitely not.
Yeah.
Like, not even close.
So
That's
we
what
didn't
I'm
grow up
saying.
in the same house. I grew up in my mother's house, which was a little
Yeah.
bit of a poorer situation. And I remember, I would go tracks of time without seeing him. And there was the one point in time where he had a nice growth spurt, and I got there. We were both in our teens, and he was like, I was in my late teens, he was in his early teens. And he was like, yeah, fucking bet you can't. And he lived in theory. When it came to physical shit.
Mm.
So I just fucking smashed him, folded him up on the ground, man. And his back popped, and it was like a whole bit. It was like a family scandal. For like, He was like El Reycito. He was like the little king.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like his mother's Colombian, and his father. And so that was her
that's
first
why.
kid. Yeah,
That's
super like, but also his younger sister, not so much love. My little sister Marla, her mom was not so like loving and kind toward her all the time in comparison to the first. So it was like this weird Game of Thrones shit, and that's another thing I wanted to get into about. So from that segue, we talked about the white and black situation in this country before on this show a lot. And like I said, I've got to the conclusion where I'm no longer trying to figure it out because I don't think it's my place to figure out. My people got here in 1969 or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? And the Guineas that came before that came in 1946. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not in it. I don't fucking know. And the Guineas that were here lived on Miami Beach with the sign that said no Jews, no blacks. My grandpa used to say, you guys used to knock that thing on the ground. What are you going to do?
Which is funny because Miami was built by Jews.
Jews and blacks. Fucking the blacks here in Florida from the Bahamas built the fucking railroad, built Flagler, built everything. Like, it's one of those things, too, where we have this weird vision of what Miami is now, because Miami's not even Cuban anymore. It was Cuban for like 25 years.
That Miami that we know is post-Mariel Miami.
Yes, bro.
Yeah,
exactly.
Very, very different, bro.
And it's gone now. It's not the same.
Yeah. No, it's not the same.
Right.
Now it has to be closed at 8 o'clock.
Ugh, Miami's
And
terrible.
they close the highlight.
Ugh. What?
Bro.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything would close.
The one in Little Haiti. The one that's right by Little Haiti.
The only thing that's left that's even remotely like it was is like La Carreta. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
some of Bayside, but yeah, it's falling apart.
A little bit of Bayside, you can still find some old Cuban crackheads that fucking came over.
But you go La Sabuesera. That's where my family's at. Shout out to Bird Road, 140. Yeah.
Hey, Subway.
And also shout out to Yingling.
I lived on
fucking
Coraway. I lived on Coraway, alante de FIU, right next to Latin America number 2.
FIU.
My girl went to FIU and her mom moved in right over there. And then then Snapper Creek after that. Bro, that's
remember last year the fucking bridge fell down there? Remember that?
Yeah.
That was the one that they were like, yeah, Obama hired a bunch of women engineers. Every Cuban in the place was like,
and this is where I wanna circle back to my first note that I made. Sears is the shit. How these women engineers
Listen,
shopped at Sears.
Listen, those
maybe.
No, you know hear the backstory with those women. Like, two of them weren't like they were in school, and the other two were like, we've never headed a project before, and it was like the mayor that was like, no, we want to show that we're diverse, and they're like, no,
just give them a bridge.
They're like, no, we can't do this. They're like, just build a walking bridge, it'll be fine. They're like, okay, but if it doesn't work, yeah, but it's like if it doesn't work, you can't yell at us.
3 hard rains and it fucking fell down,
man.
Bro.
And literally the women were like, we told you it wasn't safe to walk on. Like, so it's not even the women's fault. It was like the progressive political.
I'm just glad it happened before they started protesting across it. You know, let's just get it out of the way.
But that's the thing. Like, I didn't understand when like crazy right wing people were like, oh, those women can't even build a bridge. I'm like, no, they didn't want to. They said they couldn't, and when it was built, they're like, this isn't safe.
Yeah, they were forced to do it.
Just leave it. Yeah, and they're like, we don't care about any political backing. We just care about safety and this being a blemish on our record. So like they were protesting them.
Well, that's the thing now. It's like we're pre-placating people. We're placating people prior to their complaint. Now we're like trying to adjust the world. It's like, remember that movie with Tom Cruise where they're like, they got those fucking weird zombies and they're like, oh, we figured out this guy's going to kill somebody and they run into fucking stop him. They're trying to do that with offense.
Yeah.
They're trying to preamble offense. And I'm raising a young woman. I'm raising a daughter. I have a 5-year-old daughter.
God bless you.
In the car with me, I talk to her like she's a 38-year-old detective on the homicide unit. And my wife is like, why do you tell her some of the shit you tell her? And I'm like, because I might die in a car accident. and whatever the fuck happens, I might fucking 300 pounds. I got a heart attack tonight because I get fucking hyped. Okay, I want her to know as a young woman.
Yeah, don't do that. Not for me.
No, I don't want to, but fuck as it goes. But as a young woman, if I don't inform her, she's gonna be like the rest of them. And that's what I see. They're all like drones and shit, and they all get their information from Alyssa Milano and fucking the other one from Charmed, and they fucking
the other one.
They develop
Rose
personality
McGowan.
archetypes around having a gray silver hair, and fucking that's their whole shit. A hibiscus tattoo and silver hair, and now I'm fucking for social justice. And I want her to be like, not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. So when she asks me shit like, is the mayor gonna help people with the sickness? I'm like, well, the mayor might be a fucking asshole, and the governor might be a piece of shit too. And they're both kind of trying to steal the money. And she's like, what the fuck? And then she comes
you gotta teach her, bro.
So my wife's like, what'd you and daddy do today? And she's like, did you know the mayor's an asshole? And she's like, what the? But it's like, this is what we have.
I'll drink to that.
We have a lot of friends. We have a lot of friends who they just toe this line. And that's what I love about you, Andrew, knowing you. And you, again, you're in the circle that I'm in, have some of these same friends and acquaintances, yet still manage to, you know what I'm saying? Everybody gets along and all that kind of thing.
I feel like people appreciate my perspective. Like, I feel like I have an interesting perspective because, like, you guys may or may not know this. You probably my dad is a law enforcement officer. He's a lieutenant.
My father was in Chicago as well.
Yeah, here in Palm Beach County. I'm very proud of my father and the career he's had. He's had a very good career. And the reason that he doesn't leave, because I beg him to leave, is because he says, who's going to teach these new cops not to be pieces of shit? Like, so there are cops out there that understand, that there's an issue.
Absolutely.
But being raised, by a police officer, and then when my mom and him got divorced, she married a fireman because she loves uniform. So just I grew up in a very, traditionally conservative respect for, public service, respect for the military. And then now I'm a professional musician. Like, I get paid to be an asshole, basically. It's like my job. And as you guys know, the art space is dominated by a more liberal mentality. Absolutely. So I have a foot in both camps, so I get to talk to people. And I gotta say that going to college is really what broke me. I'm a proud Buckeye. I went to the Ohio State University, and growing up in South Florida, bro, like in a Cuban house where you marry Cuban people and you have Cuban kids, like you grow up a homophobic, you grow up a little bigoted, a little racist. You know what I mean?
I married a Jewish woman. That was an issue with my father.
But like it was my first week of living in Columbus. Like I like to cook. You know what I mean? So I go to the grocery store every night and I buy what I need to make my meal that night. Like going to the grocery store is part of my thing. I like it. Yeah. So it's right down the street from my house, and like by the time I got there from work, there was only like a lane or two open, and it just so happened that the same girl checked me out, like cashed me out 3 nights in a row. And on the third night, she was like, "Hey, so I haven't really seen you before. I seen you the last couple of nights. You just moved here or whatever." And I was like, "The fuck do you care? Like, what's it to you?" And like I was
we talked about this last episode. We literally
instantly
talked about that.
defensive. And
when I was in Texas, that was me, bro.
And it took, but. The LGBTQ national headquarters is in Columbus, and going anywhere where you have 80,000 people between the ages of 18 and 23, it's going to tend to be a pretty progressive place.
Absolutely.
So like my first job there, I was working at a private transportation company, and there was this guy that worked there. His name's Steve, Big Gay Steve. And he befriended me. He was like a 65-year-old dude. I'm an 18-year-old dude in college. But I didn't know fucking really anybody. I had some family up there, but I didn't have anybody to take me out. So he was like, "Yo, I'm going to take you out with my boys." And I was like, "Where the fuck are y'all going to take me, bro?" And he's like, "To a gay bar." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he's like, "Listen, you know who goes to gay bars? Gay men and beautiful women. We're going to take you as our straight friend, and we'll get you fucking laid." And they sure as shit did for 4 years, bro. Not only did they do that, like they befriended me. A lot of them were like wealthy and better off. Like I got a nice townhouse. Some of they came and painted my place and decorated my place and bought me furniture and shit. So I had this like den that I could bring.
So it's like you had like a gang of gay uncles that had your back. Bro.
But you know what I mean. But I left Florida going up there severely homophobic. You know what I mean? And like, it came back, and then luckily, as I progressed through that job and through college, I got to travel, most of the United States and just see how different people live in different parts of our country. You know what I mean? And that type of experience and just to travel, I think is super necessary for people, because it without knowing, it humbles you in a sense. Because like, one of my biggest problems with the music scene down here stems a lot with downtown, and it's like, well, you're not shit because you haven't headlined a show at Respectables. Well, like in Ireland, they don't give a motherfuck if you've headlined a show at Respectables.
Right.
In NorCal, they don't know where the fuck it's like.
Right.
I refer to it as unfound arrogance. It's
Yeah.
like, you're arrogant for no reason. You know what I mean? It's like, you have no reason. Like, who the fuck are you? Because you're somebody between this traffic light and this traffic light. Doesn't make you anybody. And that's why I've distanced myself
Big fish,
from
small
kind of
pond.
I've distanced myself from that scene a little bit, because I have higher aspirations from myself and my bandmates and our product, as musicians. And I'm trying to reach outside of that. We're trying to reach outside of that. But to touch back to what you said before, Andrew, you were talking about how we lost the ability to joke around, like,
yes,
and
to freely joke around with each other about what real cultural shit.
I talk about that all the time. I consider myself to be one of the funniest people that I have the pleasure of knowing, and I talk about it all the time. And
Humble
like,
too.
Yeah, no, for sure. I talk about it how like it's either all funny or none of it's funny.
Yes.
And
yes.
And
Absolutely.
I operate by that code, and the second that we stopped abiding by that is when you start to see society turn into what it's unfortunately turned into now, which is a heavily like victimized culture. You have the trigger culture, you have the cancel culture, and all these different cultures. And like you had said, Andrew, I'm at the point where I just decided that I'm never going to understand.
Yeah.
So
I resign myself to that. It's not going to matter to me enough at a certain point, because I'm a fucking easygoing person, man. At the end of the day, like,
same.
I don't have a hard time understanding point of views. Like, I can understand the casual BLM point of view. I can understand the casual All Lives Matter point of view. Those are easy,
which are like what the leaders are
Those are
preaching.
But what I can't understand is all this like subterfuge, all this like aggression. And the problem that I also have, frankly, is that a lot of the people in our friend groups who preach about like do this violent shit, like, come see me, bitch. Like, come see me about that shit. Like, I'm not even a dude who starts fucking fights, man. I hate that shit. I spent my life in a ring. I spent my life bleeding on canvas to have what I have, right? I fucking got brain surgery at fucking 27 years old and had to end my career because I fucking, at 4 years old, laced up my glove. Like, real hard.
Like a proud
Latino. Is out in the world, bro. Yeah, real hard is out in the world. Like, I'm ugly as fuck with a purpose. I earned that shit. And to me, I see all this shit talk. It's like, oh, what you can do about the government, this, that shit. Like, get your shit. Go to fucking Cabela's and get a fucking AR and fucking get a 1,000 rounds of ammo. Start training. Start learning how to protect yourself. And start learning how to recognize that nobody's here to save you, that the government is essentially a mafia that's grabbing cash, and you pay them for their protection. That's what the fuck it is. And at the end of the day, you're lucky if you run into a cop like your father who has a personal ethic and integrity, a person who's a person. I say this all the time. Hope you run into a Jedi, not a stormtrooper. You feel me?
But you want to know what's hilarious too is that I feel like enough people, because I ask, everybody's had encounters with the police. Okay,
absolutely.
Everybody has. Whether you got pulled over or you were somewhere and a fight happened or whatever.
I'm 300 pounds, 6'2", covered in tattoos. Every time I get pulled over, I get caught for my safety.
Look, and I understand too when I get pulled over. Even though my dad's a cop, like I still get nervous because like I understand. Yeah. I'm not gonna get the benefit of the doubt looking like this. You know what I mean?
10 and 2,
and that's fine. And it is what it is. I choose to look like an asshole, bro. It's part of it's part of the thing. So like, but I think that everybody just you talked about you now reserve the position of you're never gonna understand. I have two now. What I'm trying to make famous positions. So
Okay.
I first of all, our publicist, God bless her soul. I'm a PR nightmare, but she does a good job of making sure I'm in check. I just have to equally criticize, which I do. I try and do my best to.
It's easy nowadays to
it's especially easy now, but fuck, I forgot the point that I was gonna make.
Take a moment.
Yeah, I'll take a moment. Actually, let's take a drink about it.
Here, while you're saying that, like, you guys are talking about like growing up, like the way you grew up. I actually grew up a lot like your brother, Andrew.
Yeah.
In his ears?
Yeah. And then I totally, here's why I can't say that I've resigned myself to not understanding the position. Because
that's what it was. That was
I grew up, yeah, there you go. See, this is why we're
I wrote it down.
Great minds, right? But this is why I can't be so casual about it, because I was literally more verbally militant than these people are now when I was when I was super left.
One of our last guests, your friend, what was his name? I love that guy.
Matt, dude, he was so surprised that I'm saying the things that I'm saying now, because when I worked with him, I was the super liberal asshole telling everybody all Republicans are racist, all cops are bastards, all this shit, right? So like, me living here and having to be an adult in Florida and seeing how real people are literally turned me into a regular adult instead of like some young liberal piece of shit,
That's California, baby.
Dude, but the thing is, like, so I can't be like, oh, I'll never understand. No, I know what they're gonna say before they're gonna say it. I remember the scripts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know. So when they try to
I'm so linear in my way of thinking. Like, I voted for Obama part 1 because that was my first election.
It seemed like it was cool.
I thought he was going to legalize weed. I thought he was going to shut down Guantanamo and stop cashing checks
like he
for
said.
Castro. Like he
and
said,
he
was
had
fucking
wicked mid-range jumper too.
Yeah,
bro,
just...
right? And he was dope. And it's like, yo, he's a brother. He's gonna,
was all right.
And I'm thinking too, he's gonna let out all the fucking weed charges, like all those things that he alluded to in that
Drain
first
the swamp.
And he broke my heart, bro. And then
side note, you know who let out a bunch of people with
politics.
Side note, you know who let all the people out in Florida with weed charges and cocaine and crack charges and heroin charges?
Victimless charges.
Yeah, victimless charges. It was Rick Scott, the person that everybody hates if you're a liberal.
Skeletor?
Just real weird. Just real weird.
Well, no, listen.
Man.
Hey, listen. Good people do bad shit. Bad people
Yeah.
do good shit. That dude's still a cunt. That dude still fucked up like Okeechobee and all that shit.
He still did a bunch of fucked up shit.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
But
like,
like,
those are impossible fucking jobs too,
yeah,
bro.
Man. They are impossible jobs.
I want to close this point though from the beginning.
Yeah. Do it.
So you're talking about resigning
yourself to not understanding.
I've resigned myself to, as I vocalize myself, mostly on Facebook. Obviously, I use it as a platform quite a bit. And my main thing now has been to just point out the hypocrisies on both sides because it's overwhelming. Yes. But when people will see me out, bro, at a show or somewhere, and they'll be like, well, man, you say this about that side and this about that side. So what should we do, bro? What do we do? How do we fix it? And my answer is one of two. The first one is the most fun part of the roller coaster is when you're going down. Democracy has an average of 250 years. We're right there. Throw your hands up and have a good fucking time. That's number one. Number two.
Watch Babylon Fall.
Yeah. Number two is that's why I smoke weed. I'm in a band. I got the best seat in the fucking house, bro. I got the best seat in the house. Whoa. I can't fix it, bro. I can't fix it. I just try and point out the hypocrisies and hope that I lead somebody to think for themselves a little bit, which is a fucking crime on its own now. You know what I mean? Which is incredible. Like, bro, like, the shit that I see, man, like, did you see the thing that I had posted, bro, the other day? Where the lady was talking about how she's teaching her white kids about how they're part of the problem and da-da-da-da-da. And let me actually find it. Let me Jamie you really quick. That's why I'm at the computer.
Listen, while you're looking that up, I can tell you growing up around those people, like I said, like, when I was, like, at the end of middle school, the Karens that were raising all of us, they started to do that. They started to be like, this is why you have to, like, you can't be mean to somebody like Mike because you have white privilege and all this shit. And I was like, what is this?
Here it goes right here. So I very sarcastically say, make sure you don't forget to, because she talks about she's teaching her kids about, modern day whatever. So I said, make sure you don't forget to teach them that white people are the causes of all of our problems, especially many of the problems myself and fellow people of color share because Latinos are people of color now. I didn't say that. They said that.
I'll take it.
We won't be satisfied until every white person in America hates themselves, including your kids. That is what I said to her.
Oh, I
She
saw that.
responds-
No, I
A
saw
hard
that.
react,
Yeah, I
a
did
hard
see
react.
that. Oh, yeah.
She
yeah.
responds, that's exactly what I'm teaching them.
Ugh.
That we're the cause of the problems.
It
My
was-
teachers and educators are black women, she says. And your hatred of us is valid and justified. Her fucking children. This lady's telling me that it's okay to hate her kids because they're white. And then I respond with, thank you for teaching your kids that it's okay to be hated just
Yeah.
because of the color of your skin.
I
You're
saw
truly
that.
a blessing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I saw-
And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
bro, I can't be like, I know that I'm relatively intelligent. I have a decent IQ, but I don't think that it takes, okay, a Mensa Society member to read
To
that
catch
shit.
the
Yeah.
sarcasm. No, bro.
And not even the sarcasm, but the fucking, like, just the levels of how ludicrous that, like,
Yeah.
the way this lady's
You
thinking.
let
is.
her hang
by
herself.
their own virtue, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I
you
mean?
let her hang
And
herself.
captivated by their own virtue. She's getting high
Yeah.
on that shit. She's
I
getting
call it-
high off of that interaction with you. She's going like, yes, we are. Because your validation in a way creates, like, you know what I'm saying? You give it that.
Yeah,
it's
no,
amazing.
I understand.
It's amazing.
I understand it. It's crazy to me. And I actually had a
It's so
conversation.
weird.
I had a good conversation with our homeboy Michael about this. And the term that I used that he loved was it's instinctual hate now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, depending on
Well-
what camp you're born in,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's instinct to hate the opposite camp. But it's like fucking sports, bro.
I've had
it's
the
like
exact
sports.
opposite thing happen to me in this time as when I was a kid. So when I was a kid, let's say I'm hanging out with my boy Mike Lewis, who in junior high, and I go to his neighborhood, which was all black, and somebody's like, "Hey, white boy, what the fuck you doing over here?" Because I just look like a white kid with a big fro. And he'd be like, "What the fuck's up, white boy? Why you in this neighborhood?" And
Oh,
then
red
I'd be
bone
like,
ass.
"No, he a Chico. He oh yeah, he cool."
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool. You cool." And it's like, all right, weird, but cool. I'm not gonna get jumped. That's
Yeah.
better. And then now the opposite is with white people, where it's like, well, you're Latino, so you can say that. You know what I mean? Where it's
Yeah.
like,
Well,
get
I
a brown
take that.
pass.
I took that and I ran to the races, bro.
You're
The
like,
second
all right,
that I
I'll
got
say
the fucking-
whatever.
People wanna be
Yeah.
like, but just remember, you're like you're white passing Latino,
Fuck
so you
you.
have to. It's like, what? Who the fuck makes these distinctions? And I gotta walk around with my spit card on my last name every day. My name is Andres Miguel Jose Rodriguez. Like that's so
Hueva.
fucking, it doesn't fucking get, dude. The
Yeah.
first week I moved to Georgia, I get a ticket for going 90 and 70 on fucking 75, and the cop, he was like a total like, like a fucking piece of straw in his mouth, like fucking hillbilly cop. We were in like southern Georgia, like just north of
Roscoe
Dallas.
Pico
And
train.
fucking, he was like, Rodriguez, huh? And I was like, yep, yes sir. And he's like, I expected you to be shorter and browner. Give me about 5 minutes. And he just walked back to his car, and he wrote me a warning. And he was like,
No,
you got a sense of humor. And he fucking walked back to his shit.
real talk. My
Fucking
father and I,
Like,
we went on a motorcycle ride. Let me clarify. I went on a Harley Davidson ride because
Yeah.
freedom.
No,
You know what I mean? Which, by the way, Yingling, America's oldest lager.
Yeah.
A
Yep.
great American
Number
band
one.
deserves a great American beer. That's why Sons of a Tradesman proudly drinks Yingling.
Woo.
From the American and us to the American and you. Yingling.
Clip it for their ad. For an ad, their next ad.
You know, they don't give me anything, but I'm fucking trying, bro. 'Cause I spent a lot of money.
Do it. This is your submission video.
But bro, we were riding the Harleys and we had gone and we did we rode through the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is beautiful in North Carolina, the Tail of the Dragon, and then we kind of came down and we were gonna come through Florida on 75, so we went down through Georgia and went to Alabama. We were going down to Alabama and we were gonna ride down to the forget that what's the name of them islands on the southern piece of Alabama there.
I know what you're talking about.
The
near where
Gulf-
it's like
Gulf
Louisiana,
Coast,
Alabama,
the Gulf
shit,
Shore.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we're on our way over there, bro, and we're on the bikes, and my dad looks a little less Muslim than I do, but we walk into this gas station,
Hello.
and it was probably like 1 o'clock in the morning. We're trying to get to the next big town so that we can find a place to stop, and we stopped there for gas, bro, and it was an old gas station, so they didn't have credit card slots at the pumps. You had to pay inside. So we walk inside, bro. We can see the bikes because we parked at the first pump. And, bro, they fucking denied us service. They denied us service and told us that we weren't welcome there and that we obviously weren't from around there and that we'd have to keep going until we hit the next major town.
I mean,
All right,
that's
so
northern Florida.
you know what we did, bro? We said thanks, and we fucking left. And we left. You know, because it's like, oh, we don't have time for that shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I see people
We have a
get
question.
absolutely infuriated to the point of distress over a link on Facebook, and it's
Yeah.
like, bro, I was denied service
Oh yeah.
for being brown, and I have money. I had American legal tender. You know what I mean? And I was just like, fuck it, bro. Like, I'll go to the next place.
We
I
actually
didn't
have a
think about
question for you, Andrew.
I love
It
questions.
says it's from Oliver. He wants to know, how was it growing up with a cop for a father, and how do you think it affected you as a person and as a musician?
Whew, good question. Is that,
Yeah,
I wonder
yeah.
if that's Oliver Hampton
Yeah,
or
that's it.
Hampton.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, check him out, bro. He's another
Oliver's
very
a talented guy, yeah.
very talented guy, bro. He's a great singer. From I know that there's a clique of us singers,
Yeah.
and Oliver's definitely one of them.
Awesome.
But I mean, growing up in a cop household, I'll say as a kid, it was tough in its ways. I'm sure that anybody that's a military brat out there would know to a different degree even than I know. But my dad, when I was very young, and going into being like 8, 9, 10 years old, and before that, my dad was actually worked in narcotics and stuff like that, and he worked with different undercover units. So like, my earliest memories of my father being a cop are like having a buddy of his that I thought was like my uncle, who was actually just a cop, like pick me up at school, to take me to another buddy and get into that car, to go to meet another buddy to get into that car, to meet my dad, to go with my dad to stop at a Publix to pick up another car, to then go to, another house and pick up another car, and then finally go home. And, like, that was all just, like, normal procedure to me. And it wasn't until, like, I was older that I realized that he was doing that because he wanted to protect his child. You know what I mean? And then, as I got older, it definitely breeds defiance, having, like, a type of militant father, you know what I mean? But, like,
Like
my dad and I didn't even... Yeah, we didn't even... after my parents divorced when I was, like, 15... And then when I left to go to school, there was a period of probably 3 or 4 years where I didn't talk to either of my parents really, and was determined to go and make it on my own, and I'm going to show them and blah, 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 blah. But, like, I thought about all the, lickings, if you will, both literally and figuratively, that I had gotten from not just my dad, but my mom too, because we know Cuban moms and Cuban grandmas, they got the wood spoon game strong.
Anybody in the family will light you up.
Bro, for sure.
Catch you slipping.
But when I moved back home, I really wanted to make sure that I had a good relationship with my parents. In my time when I was in college, I lost my maternal grandmother when I was in high school, and then I lost both of my dad's parents. I lost one while I was in high school, and then the other one while I was in college. So seeing my parents going through losing parents obviously kind of changed the perspective a little bit. So when I came back home, I went and I met with both parents separately and, wanted to squash the beef. And I remember very clearly, like, my dad telling me, because my dad's dad was my father on 1,000. You know what I mean? Was just a hard motherfucker, like, walked with a cane, would beat your ass with a cane, no nonsense, like, very old school. So I remember my dad telling me when we went out to squash the beef, he said, at some point in my life, I realized that it was more important for me to raise a good man than it was to raise a little best friend. I didn't need a little best friend. The world needs a good man. And if that's, if you feeling some type of way about, towards me because of that and then it is what it is. But I know that I gave the world a good man, which I would like to think that he did. My dad and I have a good relationship now. But as a musician though, like, first time I heard AC/DC was with my dad. My dad and my mom's brother used to own a trucking company together. And when I was too young to be in school, I would go and ride around in the semi and shit with my dad and my uncle. And he also had like a Dodge Dually he would use to haul trees and shit. And we would listen to cassettes and CDs, and it was shit from when he was a kid. So like I remember him being into stuff like Beastie Boys and Run DMC, and then like old school like 90s house like Debbie Deb and fucking Blondie and shit like that. But I remember the first AC/DC song I ever heard was TNT, and I had to be like probably like 10 or 11 years old, so I was in like middle school. But TNT, and I remember because when the song came, he had got the CD, and I remember holding the CD case in the passenger seat on the way home while we were listening to it, and the song came on, and the name of the record's High Voltage, and it has Angus Young like fucking holding a lightning bolt on the front and his little get up, and I just remember like looking at him and thinking how cool, and then like you hear the fucking dun, 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 and then the oys start, and it was just like this massive energy. Like I had never felt any type of energy like that. He also showed me Zeppelin, you know, like I heard Led Zeppelin for the first time with my dad. The first Zeppelin song I ever heard was What Isn't, or no, it was 10 Years Gone was the first Zeppelin song I ever heard. Beautiful fucking song, which has one of my favorite lyrics of all time in there, which is then again as it was, then again it shall be, though the course may change sometimes, rivers always reach the sea. Beautiful fucking lyric. So then, you know, my dad pressured me through college. You know, he wanted me to follow in his footsteps, not to be a local law enforcement officer, but he wanted me to be a Fed. You know, he wanted me to work like for the Secret Service or the FBI. He just wanted, and it was because he wanted me to have that long-term security, which I understand. All he wanted was to know that I was going to be okay. Like he could stop worrying because he knew I was going to have health insurance and I was going to have a retirement and I'd be taken care of. You know, so I understand that now. But then obviously I did it. I even went through EMT school because I was going to be a fireman right before the band got signed. Thank God, because I shouldn't be a fireman. But I had done all that, and then, you know, at first you tell your parents like, "Hey, I want to be a fucking professional musician." You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily go over well. And my mom was more supportive at first. Not that my dad wasn't. He just wasn't like openly supportive. He didn't speak down at it. You know, just kind of like, you know, like old Cuban dads. You know, he's like, you know, we'll see. And it wasn't until the band probably had like a year in that he had came and seen us and had tracked our progression over that year that, you know, he came up to me and was like, "Man, you know, like you're really fucking good. Like you're really, really fucking good. Like you should do this." And then when the band got signed and, you know, I had to change some things around in my life to accommodate that, we went out to eat together. And because I told him I wasn't going to be pursuing a career in the fire department anymore. So it was a hard conversation to have with my dad. And I told him this. I was like, you know, my whole life as a person born to Cuban immigrants, a family that fled communism, that came here for, you know, a chance at the American dream. My family was wealthy and prosperous in Cuba. They came here, and my grandfather was recycling old car batteries from junkyards. My grandmother was working in a sewing factory and was babysitting kids and whatever they could do to make money. And then my grandfather got a job at the sugar mills in Okeelana and worked his way up there. And then there was an explosion and he lost the use of his legs, and they went and applied for welfare. They were told, even with 4 children, that they couldn't get the welfare, but if they got divorced and lived in the same house, they could qualify then. You know what I mean? So like my family's been exposed to the ugly side of politics and government for as long as I can remember. But at that meal, I told them, you know, you guys told me all the stories, and my grandparents' relatives, my great uncles and great aunts, came from Cuba when I was in elementary school, middle school, and high school, and I got to sit down and talk to these people and listen to the horror stories of them being in prison for doing nothing. For doing nothing, man, you know, for trying to protect their family or to protect their land or just protect any values that they could cling on to. And I told them, you know, you guys told me all that, and the last thing that you would say was, we went through all that so that you could do whatever the fuck you want to do. And this is what I want to do, Dad. You know, this is what I want to do, Mom. And there's really no good answer to that. You know what I mean? So I set myself up for a very winnable situation, and I'm blessed to have the support of my family. I'm blessed to have the support of my siblings. My girlfriend Paulette, she's incredible. She supports me, and you know, she's there fucking videoing, or when we're live streaming, she's answering back comments. So it's having a cop for a dad I have to say has been one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Because my dad has hit me with a lot of hard things in my life. You know what I mean? And each one of those probably well deserved. And people more should whoop their dad's ass. And I'll say this to young parents out there. I went through a period of probably 8 or 9 years where I detested my father's existence and my mother's too, because they raised me hard. They raised me hard. And now as an adult, I love them tenfold. And I see the way that people treat their parents at my age, and I think it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting the way that people take advantage of their parents, or they talk to their parents disrespectfully. I would eat 10 million bullets for each one of them. And, like, I can't even see somebody fucking bark at my mom on Facebook, bro. Like, a fucking, you know what I mean? So, having gone from a point to where I wouldn't even speak to them to the point now I adore them more than anything, and I'm so grateful for the way that they raised me. You know, I'd say I'm pretty fortunate, and all that does definitely play a role in the music that I write, in the music that we write together as a band. I mean, people are not the only thing that makes us not animals is that we're a collective of our memories and our beliefs. You know, so those things play a huge role in the music that I write. And it's a good question from Oliver. I see I got it.
There's another question, and I don't want to butcher it because, you know...
No, I got it actually pulled up
it?
here. I can read it.
Yeah.
Just a second.
I sent it in the chat that we got.
The real question is, ustedes son cubanos, but can y'all salsa dance? He said, first of all, bro, I've been in several quinces, and all of those require you to take dance lessons. So
I think I was in 4 quinces yet in my teenage years.
Mira ahí. Uno, dos,
Oliver said, thanks for the answer.
You're welcome, bro. That's a good question, Oliver. I hope you're doing well, bro. I see that he's back to gigging and shit, so...
Yeah, it was good. He had a good live stream the other day.
Go support your homies when you can.
Hell yeah. I want to talk about how I met you, actually. Like, I was, doing, I was doing sound at Prop. And it was actually like the show before.
How many stories begin that way?
Like
fucking A, dude. You want to know what? I had completely forgotten how I fucking met you until you just said that right now.
Dude, but no, it was the show before like your tragic loss, and I was I was like, this guy's fucking cool as fuck. And then I was like, oh, now I remember how I knew who you were before I met you. Is your awesome Instagram post that I always, because like you forgot. I've introduced myself to you like 5 times, and you're like, I'm sorry, I drink, and I'm like, dude, it's not even, I don't even give a fuck because you're such a cool dude, and it's everything you say is hilarious to me, and I fucking love like all of your viewpoints, right? So I'm just like, whatever, I'll introduce myself to you 100 times, I don't give a fuck, right? So like,
I won't forget again.
Yeah, it's fine, I don't care, man. I have like 2 more stories of like, you probably didn't know it was me, and James sent you a picture of me. Anyway, I was wearing the Trump shirt. Trump shirt. That's me.
Respect.
Yeah, man. In the middle of respectables. Anyway, so I was telling you about, which you gotta link this. You gotta send me the link to this on your Instagram. It's when that guy named Castro was running in the DNC primaries, and you said you got like 150,000 like views on that.
My mom was pissed,
dude. It was hilarious.
My mom was pissed because there's a point in that sketch. First of all, I want you guys to know that anytime that I ever make a sketch, it's because something happened right then.
Yeah, I could tell.
It's never like I sat down.
It was great though.
It's like something happened. So part of that sketch right there, I say, get your abuela.
Yeah.
And then I run to the room and I pick up an urn. That was my actual abuela. No. That was my actual grandmother.
No.
Yeah. And my mom texted me and she was like, I'd appreciate it if you didn't use my mother as a prop. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, your mom was the funniest fucking person I ever knew. Like she's the one that taught me how to be funny. You know what I mean?
She would love it. Yeah.
She would love it. She would love to know that she's getting screen time right now.
Yeah.
Right?
That was one of the funniest things ever. And when I realized that was you, because it was actually Andrew that shared it on Facebook, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Funny. This guy's hilarious.
It's funny as fuck.
Yeah, and he was like, no, this guy's local. And I was like, oh, shit. And then it was a while later, and then I was working that show at Prop, and then that's when I saw you. And that's how I introduced myself. I was like, hey, man.
Oh, yeah,
that Instagram video
I remember.
was the funniest thing I've seen all year, like in the past couple years. It was the funniest thing I've seen on the internet, and I literally live inside the internet and look at funny shit all day. And as soon as I saw that, I fucking fell. Like,
Thank you.
Like I fell out of my chair the way when I was showing my dad Chappelle's show, and it was the first episode. And my dad's like, you know, like he's regular Asian immigrant kind of racist, whatever. And then
that's the best kind.
Yeah, and at the end,
you know, that's a perfect fucking segue.
But at the end, when Dave Chappelle is being interviewed about divorcing his wife, and he said why he divorced his wife, my dad fell out of his chair. I fell out of my chair the same way he fell out of his chair when I watched your video. I was like, oh shit! I showed it to my wife. I showed it to my friends. I was like, holy shit! This is like perfect. This is great. I fucking love this shit. Anyway, no problem. I just wanted to bring that up because it's literally a legendary video.
I will make sure
a hilarious, hysterical.
Dude, I don't know how it didn't get picked up by like I don't know, like
you want to know why? Because the media is ran by white liberals.
I wasn't talking about like the media. I was talking about like Ben Shapiro show or Louder. Like that would be something you would see like with Louder with Crowder though. Like that guy would definitely put that on there because it's funny, man. You know.
I try to make light of everything. Actually, I've had a couple of people message me, bro, and like thank me, you know, for like continuing to make like funny shit, you know. And it's like I never do it with the intention of like I want to brighten someone's day. Like I wish I could say that I cared that much, but I'm fucking.
Oh, you're just doing it for fun.
So this is what I want to talk about. So, like I said, I resigned myself to not giving a fuck and not understanding the black-white dynamic because I don't really feel like I fucking fall in either category. But what I do understand is the very special and unique way that Latinos, and I believe Asians have a similar kind of thing, and I want you to talk about that too, Mike, have the most interesting inter-racist relationships with one another, where
big time.
Latinos have like hierarchies, you know what I'm saying?
Big time.
Different groups have different thoughts that they think and different stereotypes about each other, and nobody really talks about that shit. When you talk about like white liberals or white conservatives, they put Latino people in like one box. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it used to be. Remember the old school census? I don't know if it's the same anymore, but it used to be Latino, Hispanic, and it would say in parentheses non-Cuban. And then there was a second one for Cubans because Cubans would sway the statistic because we were traditionally Republican because of Ronald Reagan and because we despise JFK.
Yeah,
and we don't. That's a whole nother fucking podcast. I don't need to go.
My father used to take a 50-cent piece with JFK on it and put a little drill press through his head. Ooh, fucking in the fucking garage. He'd have like a roll of fucking 50-cent pieces.
You know, it's funny.
Putting holes in his head for fun, like just for like a fidget spinner. Like that was his fucking like.
You know,
yeah, he was on game, bro, before shit went down.
Dude, it's funny that that you guys come from a culture that hated him, and my great grandfather literally like family friend, right, of the Kennedys, and like would have been in his cabinet. I say he was, but like he was like one of the people that the fucking president like asked for advice because my great grandfather, super corrupt, super terrible person. He's like, I got him 100,000 fake votes in Northern California. Do you know how much that is in the 60s? And I'm like, I mean, that's a lot. I guess it's a lot.
Yeah.
He's like, we would fill up the buses and take them.
That type of information should like piss me off because that type of information used to piss me off.
Yeah.
And now it's just like it's such a fucking joke, bro. Because, like, you know, I play.
It's a game.
They both do it though. They both
do it. It's a game we're not in.
Yeah.
It's a game we're not in, bro.
I got friends that I talk to all around the world. You know what I mean? And it's funny to talk to some of my international friends. I was actually talking to a buddy of mine the other day from Ireland, and was just shooting the shit or whatever. And I don't remember how it came up, but we got to talking about news. And he was like, you know, my local news here every night does like a segment piece every single night about how your news lies to you.
Yeah.
Like it's like a YouTube piece for them.
They know
you know
it.
What I mean?
Yeah.
And it's it's like a joke piece, bro. Of like today in American mainstream media, they said they blah, 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 you know.
Our news is straight up tabloid shit now. Like, it's just
honestly,
straight up game.
the worst shit ever, though. Honestly, is Facebook. Like honestly.
I'm addicted.
Dude, me
I'm
too. Because
addicted.
I feel like I'm doing the Lord's work out there.
Yes, yes. If I don't tell these people that they're being a fucking idiot, then they're not going to hear it, because Facebook is like an echo chamber inside an echo chamber, and they're all just patting themselves on the back about how woke they are and how like super progressive they are, or even about like how super right wing they are and how much they support Trump. I'm like, no, you're both extremists. You're both crazy. And then I get yelled at and called the other side. You know.
Yeah.
Like
racist.
I literally got called. I remember there's this one guy that I was talking about last time with Matt that he actually knew that I worked with, called me conservative blowhard. For
nice.
Yeah. And I all I had ever did was just not ask him questions like, why do you think this, because it's wrong. I would just ask him like, why do you think this is accurate, like, and then if he engaged with me, I would show him that like my, like, not my source but like the actual source that he would post, and be like, no, what you actually posted goes against what you say. Like,
I mean, the more
like,
fucking I like
it was,
we,
I wasn't
hear about it.
I wasn't towing a line, you know, like I was just asking a question. I was trying to.
The more I hear about it, the more I fucking don't understand the whole idea. Like, I can't get my fucking head around it in any kind of way. Conservative, liberal, right, left, whatever the fuck it is. Like, so many people are just cunts. Like, so many people just are fucking assholes so hard. And it doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. I'm at the point now where if I'm in person and somebody starts talking to me about, like, their fucking, like, talking points politically.
Yeah.
If I can't glaze over and go to that fucking like zombified place, I really worry that soon I'm gonna sink my teeth into somebody's fucking nose and just bite that shit off.
Here's the difference.
Start a goddamn violent rampage. I'm at a point now where I'm so completely bereft of any understanding and like any desire to try and understand that shit. When somebody tries to sway me in one direction or the other, I just want to start choking them to death. I can't fucking do it anymore.
I want to say something about that too, because like,
real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lucifer Ramos wants to know how many times you've lit your beard on fire.
Fucking never, bro.
Oh, never.
I get food in it all the fucking time, though. Food and beer and shit all the time.
Yeah.
Never lit it on fire, though, thank God.
But you wanted to talk about...
know, I started growing the beard out of laziness, because like it's a lot to shave this whole ass.
Let me ask you.
All the time.
Let me ask you, how long have you been growing that?
Bro, I just cut 1.5 inches off of it today, and I grew that in 4 weeks. So like I can grow this right here in like 3.5 months.
I haven't shaved since before the coronavirus. Asian. Look at all the patches, dude. This is the best. This is the white pushing.
Swim fast as fuck.
Oh yeah. I have no hair. Yeah. I have no hair anywhere. Like there's
like
nothing.
A seal.
Yeah, man.
Like a seal, and not the singer either. but that, like, you know, so like I talk, my parents and they listen, you know, and they respect that I do a lot of reading and a lot of research. So, you know, I tell them like the dangers of being too hard wing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
sure.
and at first,
staunch zealotry is fucked.
Yeah. At first they were kind of abrasive to it. You know what I mean? And didn't want to hear it and thought their son was turning into a communist. Which, by the way, I've been calling people communists before it was cool. I just want to make that a fucking
same.
Thing.
Yo, anybody who grew up in a Cuban house, that was like the #1 fucking cut down for
communist.
I didn't
drink
start
Pepsi. Communist.
Dude, I didn't start calling people communists till I moved down here and started hanging out with Cubans. Because they were the only ones that were like, "You're new, you know. Come on, let's go party." I'm like, "All right, yeah, man."
But you know, but they listen and like, and it's something that I try and tell all hardcore right wingers is like, the precedent that you set here will still be applicable when the commander-in-chief is somebody that you're not a fan of.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And like just getting that simple idea to stick to people is a war in itself.
Yes.
So then to touch on what Andrew was saying, like,
I want to talk about something like that next.
People get, and I'm all about it. Like, I feel that the danger is, bro, that people on both sides, and it's honestly, it's the greatest game of espionage I've ever seen played. The greatest game of divide and conquer I've ever seen. It's honestly genius, and I kind of admire it in a fucked up way. But
Sure.
It's gotten to the point where, okay, it started with, I hate these people over there, and I'm gonna tell them why I hate them, right? And then they're gonna tell me why they hate me, and then that's gonna be the end of it. And now it's gotten to the point where they don't even do that. Like you said, you get to the point where you're so fed up that now that there's not even a dialogue. And I fear that that's kind of the direction that we're moving towards. That how can you have any type of progression? Forget trying to understand each other.
Yeah.
You're so fed up and aggravated that you won't even fucking speak to each other.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I'm at, because I think I feel like a man without a country politically. I don't have any desire to toe a fucking line, and I fucking bounce all over the place as far as my opinions go. I believe the Second Amendment, like, everybody should pack heat. Everybody. If you're 14 and up, fucking pack a gun, bitch. and fucking, I believe also, like, reefer should be legal, and if you want to have an abortion, you should have an abortion. I don't want to pay for it in my taxes, but if you want to scrape a baby, scrape a baby. I don't give a fuck. If you want to marry who you want to marry, you should definitely marry who you want to marry. Like, those things are easy ones to me. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't understand the whole left, right? Because I'm all over the board, I guess.
You know, most people agree, like, regardless of their political leaning, with what you just said.
Exactly. And to revisit, you know, growing up and having a traditionally conservative household, and then also being a musician, that's the other thing that I realized from having a foot in both camps, is that they're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But and so, like, now,
but the media has told them that the other person is their enemy, not another human that they can interact with.
Honestly, it's the same message. The only thing that's different is the tone
the
and
color.
which is presented, man. Like, it's fucking
red or blue. Yeah. I'm holding a red flag, saying this. Well, I'm saying the same thing, and I'm holding a blue flag. But since you're holding a red flag, we're enemies. It's dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, it's team shit. Yeah. It's team shit. It's tribalism.
It's funny that you were saying that, like, just because, like what you're calling for is still going to stand even when, like, there's a president in the White House that you don't like, right? Mm-hmm. I have to explain this to, like it's pretty much just, like, ultra liberal people on Facebook. I'm like, what you're calling for is unconstitutional and un-American, and they'll say, like, oh, well, yeah, but it's okay because the other side does it. I'm like, you shouldn't advocate for something that helps your side cheat, and
what
that
the
makes
fuck
it.
ever happened?
Well, no, that makes it a policy. Well, no, that makes it a policy. Yeah. Well,
how about being righteous?
Well, what I try to get through to them is that, like, it's like, okay, so the policy that you want to enact that's going to help your side now, right, is going to can also be now used against you if, you know, like, more people of the other side get put into office. Like, just because it's good for you now doesn't mean it's going to work for you forever. You know, that's the whole political game. They're trying to convince you that their way to cheat is good, but it doesn't work for them forever, because the other side's going to be like, oh, wait, everybody can do this? And then they both cheat. That's why we're in the position we're in, is that both sides have tried to sell you that their version of cheating is justified, and now it's just cheating laws on top of cheating laws on top of cheating laws, and the people that suffer are the Americans. Is everybody. It's all of us.
The perfect example of that, they cheat so we cheat, is those fucking websites, the Win Red and the Act Blue. Act Blue came first, you know, which is basically a backdoor way to fund campaigns.
Yep.
And then Win Red came behind it. They were like, well, fuck it.
Oh, well, we can do that too?
I don't know about
that
shit.
It's a way to get around super PACs.
I researched that.
Dude, it's a way to get around. It's a way to get around super PACs and get, like, a lot of donors. Like,
it's really easy, bro. Basically, if I donate to you and you don't claim the donation in 60 days, then me as an entity gets to decide where that money goes.
Yeah.
It's like, I think I represent the normal fucking dope who doesn't fucking look at any of that shit. And the more I hear about it on this fucking show from all the people that we talk to, the more I hear about this kind of shit, I just feel like I'm hulking out and fucking. I also want to, like, get all those old fucks in office and throw them in a pit and be like, one can live, all of you must fight to the death, because it's just like we're getting run by a bunch of, like, 70 to 90-year-old billionaires. What the fuck? That's weird. It's like a bunch of Dr. Evils run the country, and we're just sitting back like, I want my old piece of shit to win. And
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get how dumb we are. I don't get it. I don't get how, and I'm not smart enough to understand how dumb we fucking become.
So one thing though, like, and like this is coming from not being a Trump supporter or like a right wing person, like the appeal of Trump to people, I feel like Alonso and myself, is that like when you talk about these old fucks running shit and like doing shit for themselves, Trump doesn't follow the prototype, which is why a lot of the government hates him, like Republicans and Democrats. They all think, like, that's why so many of them are outspoken and say he's unqualified, because I feel like he's got a little bit of what you just said in him, Andrew. Like he got, yeah, like he got there and he's like, wait a minute, everybody's fucking stealing money from America, and he's just.
The government is like an obvious mob.
No, I know.
It's the fucking most.
But I'm not saying maybe it didn't take him becoming president.
That it's a legitimate thing.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of people making millions of dollars doing nothing.
So let's say though
it's
that
a bunch of no-show jobs.
Yeah.
At a fucking construction site that's mobbed up.
Yeah.
That's what the fuck it is.
And basically
the whole fucking government amount.
And basically he showed up to work and he's like, nobody's here, but we're all getting paid. What is this? And then so like he does the work and gets promoted, and he's like making everybody to go to work. Which, number one,
I guess
all of them don't like it. And it's not even that, like, the whole thing is, too, he's not doing anything while he's doing the things that he's doing.
Either, because he knows all those motherfuckers. They all know each other. They all
I know.
They all eat from the same trough. They all fuck the same hole. You know what I'm saying?
I know. And like I said, he's not doing great things, but
it's the boys.
But people don't like him in the government because, like you said, it's an empty job site where people get paid, but he's like showing up to work. But he's not doing work. He's just trying to tell people. He's like, hey, we're getting paid to do nothing over here. And the guys are like, yo, you can't say that. But he's still not doing the work though, you know? He's just showing you. He's like, hey man, like, hey, like this is all bullshit. You should fire all of us. Like we're not necessary, you know? And he's being an asshole doing it.
When The Rock is gonna run, and I want to know if he's
dude,
gonna get Stone Cold as his running mate.
Dude,
bro, Kanye.
Kanye, 2024. Actually, for real, it should be
Trump Kanye on it.
Dude, that would be a great one. Trump as his vice president. Oh, he would fucking kill.
I'm there for it. Honestly, if it was 2004 Kanye, I'd vote for him.
The getting up on stage, Kanye.
I don't know who I'm gonna vote for, man.
Stealing people's awards on stage.
Honestly, bro, I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't even know if I care.
And while I say all that stuff about Trump, and that'd be nice if he really was genuine, you know, and really trying to do the same thing. Like you said, I'm not sure I believe it. However, the loudest people on the internet in real life fucking hate him, and they hate anytime, and they yell and they cry and they throw a fit like a toddler anytime anybody says, I'll vote for Trump. So I will vote for Trump for that. 99%, that is the reason why I'll vote for him. 1% is I'm holding out hope that he could actually do something good. That's like that's literally it. 1%, maybe. And listen, if he does nothing, he'll be the best president ever.
Just like buy land, stock ammo.
You remember that viral video of the girl when Trump won the first time, and she screams up in the sky?
Yeah.
Like I think about that video, and I think about how expanded from there it's gonna be when he wins the second time.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Well,
like how much are people gonna freak the fuck out?
How weird is it gonna get?
Well,
how weird is it gonna get?
Here's one thing about politics
I just hope
too.
Music comes back.
Oh yeah. So that's the whole thing too.
I'm desperately hoping it comes back.
What I like about him there is that like he kind of just says like fuck it. The country can fix itself. It's full of hardworking people. Stop closing shit. Like I'm cool with that, but growing up in a political family, like I was forced to see that like your first 4 years you do what you need to do to get elected. It doesn't matter. You like basically don't exist as a president. You sign whatever, right? But your last 4 years, you're like, what are you gonna do? Fire me? Like it takes 4 years to impeach a president, and in between 3 and 4 years to officially impeach a president, and you only have 4 years left that you can be in office. Like, where you can do whatever you want.
That's the running
You're the
gun
president.
years.
Dude, you're the president. So what I'm hoping for is either to get reelected or because he doesn't give a fuck, he's just going to implement all of Andrew Yang's shit. Because anytime when Andrew Yang was running, he was like, they're like, what do you
he's
think?
Very smart.
He's like, he's very smart. These are good ideas. And they're like, would you implement them?
He's got good points. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
take some of those points.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Like
Literally.
I like when he does that.
Dude,
that
but
last speech
that was the only guy he didn't talk shit about. That was
fucking funny. He's
yeah,
got comedic timing.
he's hilarious.
That last speech where he's like,
Dude.
I don't know about you. I get in the shower and the water, it barely comes out. It drips. It drips so you stay longer. And I don't know about you, but my hair, it's got to be perfect. So I'm in there until it's done. So
He
you
is
use more water
hilarious.
Anyway. So
He's
He
our funniest
Some
president.
places they got so much water they don't know what to do with it. It's called rain. It's like fucking like the guy.
He wasn't talking about anything. It was great.
It's like a troll. It's
And
like a
people
fucking
got mad. They were like,
furious. He's like, we brought back the light bulb.
Oh.
Brought back the old light bulb.
They were like,
they make you look so much better.
you
so much
idiot,
better.
you don't even know
Well,
how
I
light
like-
bulbs work.
How about this one? Let's talk about this one. So you saw the comments that he made about I'm sorry if I say her name incorrectly, but the Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh, yeah.
Rape queen. Yeah.
So when I read his comment and I saw the video, I took it as like, hey, hope you don't get suicided.
Yeah.
That's the way that I took it.
Yeah.
But it seems that the general consensus of the interwebs is that he was like cheering for her. You know, hey, hope you get off on that case.
Right. Like,
Yeah, I
good
mean,
luck.
and
Yeah.
it's like,
But if you understand
honestly,
his
bro, it's
humor,
like, I feel like people that get their like, I call it like the meme news,
yeah.
and like the hardcore left, man, like those people should be Olympic long jumpers, bro. Because that's like,
Reaching.
and
If you ever need anything from the top shelf, they can reach it for you.
Listen, not to say that the
You
far
can
right
see.
doesn't,
You can
because
find
like,
it on both
Yeah.
sides.
I remember seeing the post. You remember seeing fucking the post of Obama as the Black Panther?
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
And like it was proven that they found the original image. It was a Bosch Photoshop
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. And I remember people like still posting it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I would be like,
That's what I try to tell people when they're like,
This
"Oh,
is-
you fucking right wing, fucking Nazi and all this shit." I'm like, dude, you literally sound like the people, the hillbillies that were calling Obama a fucking Muslim terrorist, and I was defending him, saying like, "No, you're crazy," and they're like, "No, that's
Right.
different. That's different. Your guy is
Listen.
bad. Your guy's bad." And I'm like,
Do
I'm
we
like,
think?
oh,
do we
Jesus
think that
Christ.
he was in fact Muslim?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't care. Most likely not. Most likely not. Here's the whole
That's
thing
what
with
I
that. Here's the whole thing with that. Like when I compare them to those people, they're like, "I'm not a racist redneck," and I'm like, "No, but you sound like a racist redneck now. Like you sound
Yeah.
exactly like the racist rednecks
You
that
know
were
what's
yelling
funny,
at
man? I live
Obama.
in
You're
Georgia.
just
I know a lot of
yelling at
rednecks.
Trump."
I don't know a lot of racist rednecks.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the
it's
other
also an
thing
unfair
too.
stereotype at this
The
point.
stereotype
There
of
are
a racist
rednecks,
redneck
but
is
not all.
is not as prevalent as
Listen,
the crazy
I
left
went-
will say.
I went
Most
to
of the white
Seminole
people
Ridge.
out here are like psyched to meet somebody ethnic.
I went
and
to
try to
Seminole
fuck you.
Ridge Community High School in Loxahatchee, Florida.
The women.
Okay.
Or the men.
Across the,
if-
across
if
the
you were a
street
woman.
from Orange Groves. I went
Yeah,
to
right
school in as country as you can get here in South Florida, bro. And your typical redneck there in his big lifted truck, his favorite thing to listen to,
is rap. It's like
Weezy
the
F
hood
Baby,
is.
bro.
Yeah.
The hood is
Weezy F-
hood.
and that was mixtape Wayne days. Those are them real days.
Yo, talk about Lil Wayne. That is probably the person that everybody that like is super hood that's getting hyper partisan all of a sudden should probably emulate, because that guy literally says like, "I don't know what racism is. I was a
He's
poor
got
black
some good-
kid." Dude, he has real great points. Poor black kid,
He
and I'm a
does.
millionaire. And then like the white cop saved
True.
his life, like everything.
Yeah.
Like he loves cops and white people and black people and Spanish people, and
No,
he doesn't
white
give a
people
fuck.
made him famous, bro.
Yeah, man, dude. Like he loves all of that shit. Like when Kendrick
White
Lamar.
people on MySpace.
Yeah, dude. I remember when Kendrick Lamar got mad at that one girl that he brought up, and she's.
I was there.
You were at that
I was there.
concert?
I was in the crowd.
And he got mad at her for
That
singing
was
the words of the
in
song.
The
That's
crowd, bro.
wild.
Can I
Lil
tell you? Can
Lil
I tell
Wayne
you?
was
Can I
like,
tell you?
Lil Wayne was
Listen,
like, "Why are you getting mad? You brought her up to sing the song. You should
bro,
know
I
that's
was
in the song. That's your
the
song."
crowd. That was Hangout Festival in Gulf
Yeah.
Shores, Alabama. I was in the crowd, okay? And I was there with my boy Chris, with our drummer Chris,
Yeah.
and we're watching the set, and we're hyped, bro, because we like Kendrick. And they bring the girl up, and she says the lyric, bro, and Kendrick makes a big deal about
Yeah.
it. And so first of all, it's a music festival
Of all white people.
in Alabama
Mostly
on-
white people.
on the beach.
Your drummer
Right.
was the darkest person in the crowd.
The only 3 black guys that weren't working were standing right behind
Yeah.
us. Okay. And they were smoking a joint, and so we knew they were standing behind us because we had smoked some of the joint with them. So this happens on stage, bro. And Chris and I both naturally, what do? We're like, yeah. And homeboy hits his joint, and he's like, "Nah, it's fucked up." And bro, because I remember I came home. I came home from that thing, and I went to go get my hair cut. And I'm getting my hair cut, and they were talking about this thing that had happened with Kendrick or whatever. And then they put it on the TV, and I was like, "Yo, I was fucking there." I was like, I had just come from there. Yeah, bro.
Dude, that's crazy.
I had no idea that it had become this like big deal.
Yeah, like literally overnight from when you drove home. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Also,
that's crazy, bro.
To talk about your drummer, he's fucking amazing, and he's also just as funny.
Listen, let me talk about my whole band for a second.
Yeah,
bro.
Go.
If I may. I firmly believe every single day and every time that I am on stage with those guys that an argument can be made that every single one of them are the best at what they do. And that goes for when I had different guys in the band, when Nick was in the band, when Rocky was in the band, now with Marvin in the band, with Guido, PJ, our original guitarist, Chris on drums. I feel like every single night you can make the argument when you're there seeing those guys that they're the best you've ever seen doing that.
Right on.
And I think that type of faith and belief in your band, bro, and also like the brotherhood that we push is not a facade, bro. Like,
right.
You know, as you guys know,
We've
been through some shit. We've been through some shit together, you know, and a lot of shit together, and had many opportunities to quit, and we didn't. And by our perseverance as we've cashed in on it, you know, and hopefully we'll continue to do so. But those guys are my absolute best friends, and I can't imagine my life without them. And when I'm home by myself, bro, and I'm having like a shit day, you know, because I'm home stuck in quarantine, like what I watch to make me feel good is like streams of my band, and I just watch each guy do their thing. You know what I mean? And I'm so lucky to get to play with those guys, bro. You know what I mean? It's the best.
Exactly what you mean, because this album that I'm working on with Mike Morrison, like watching him do this, like when you're a fan of the person that you're working with, cheers, salute.
It makes all the difference.
When you're a fan of the person that you're working with, it's such a fucking awesome experience to be like, God, this is a bad motherfucker.
What a fucking
like,
talent.
Where you're just like, yes, where
Yeah.
you're watching shit that you're involved in, and it's blowing you away that you get to be a part of it. Like that. It's one of the coolest fucking feelings, and watching
it's a great feeling, man.
And watching people reach an amazing potential is such an awesome thing.
It's great, you know, and I know that you know, a topic that we can talk about, because I've gotten hit up this way, that some people feel like it's irresponsible to be actively seeking shows right now and to be out playing. Because I've gotten.
Have you watched my rants? Have you watched my rants?
I watched like the first 3 minutes of the last one you posted today, because I spent the day running around getting ready so I could do this, bro. Like a fucking. And I have some shows too this weekend, but I looked like a fucking caveman before.
I talk about all this stuff in my rants, man. Like,
I already forgot what I was talking about.
Seeking shows. People are getting mad at you for seeking to play shows. Your livelihood, going out, they're telling you it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's my job. And you know,
Yeah,
like
okay.
I made a big post when we were playing our first show back since the quarantine, and we did it the only place that we would ever do it at Connolly Sports Bar, which was the first bar that ever really gave us a chance, and we continue to play there, and we'll always play there.
It's the only bar I've ever been kicked out. That's the only place I've ever been kicked out of.
Well, you're welcome back now because you're friends with the band.
Yeah.
But when
That's
we
a funny
played that
story.
first show back, I made a big post about the mask. And I was like, listen, I don't fucking care if you think that it's a good idea or a bad idea or whatever. This has transcended that now. If I find out that somebody that came to see our band is the reason that my bar got fined or shut down or something like that, I will punch you in the fucking mouth. I was like, this is the epitome of hypocrisy as far as the scene goes. If you're a hardcore right winger, okay, and you're anti-mask, and you're gonna refuse to wear a mask at a venue, then you can never say you support your local music scene ever again, ever fucking again, ever. It's like, and people need to understand that, bro. And that's like,
well, it's one of those things. Even if you feel like it's jumping through hoops, sometimes you might have to do that in order to maintain something important.
Yeah. Exactly.
Regardless of how you feel about the mask,
exactly,
and its level of effectiveness or whatever, it's like you're gonna get the place that pays me, okay, to play music, to pay my bills, to go and drink for free, and smoke weed and play music and have the place that pays me to do that. You're gonna endanger them. You can go fuck yourself. What happened over there, bro? You getting spied on? It's the NSA. It's the NSA.
This is like that conspiracy theory episode where I heard fucking knocking on the door, and I heard cars pulling up, and I was like,
and then we hear a pop and it goes black.
All right, we're only an hour and a half in, and I'm a little tipsy. I just want to mark it.
No, I kicked the light on my main light in front of me. Let me get a little bit better.
I just want to mark it. But yeah, dude, as far as people saying that like, it's irresponsible to be seeking gigs or whatever right now, it's like, fuck 'em. Fuck you. That's why I say about the bars being closed. It's like, yo, shut it all down, or open the fucking bars.
Or open everything else.
No.
Yo, actually,
you know,
I was gonna do a rant about this. I'll just fucking break this information right now. So, what was it, like 2 days ago? Trump had his little briefing about Corona, right? And he said for the State Department of Health in each state to stop reporting their case numbers to the CDC and report directly to the White House.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the Florida Department of Health was like, so the numbers that we gave you are 90% too big. And he's like, excuse me? And he's like, did we say 15,000? It was more like 15,000 new cases a day. Well, if we just do new cases and don't mix the antibody studies and count multiple tests from the same person on multiple days, then it's more like 1,500 new cases a day. And like all of a sudden now, for the last 3 days, it went from 10,000 and up new cases a day to now all of a sudden they have to report to the White House. And they've been saying how oops. Now Florida only has 5,000 cases a day. All of a sudden, it literally went down by a third, and it's going down every day because now they have to report accurately. Now they have to report truthfully. Now they can't do that double, triple, quadruple. Like I say in my rants, my one buddy has to get 2 negative tests to come back to work.
Oh yeah, my sister does too. My sister's a nurse.
The last report from the CDC says if you're asymptomatic and you've been asymptomatic for 10 days isolated, you should be able to go back to work because you will continue to test positive for up to 3 months. And if you're testing positive for up to 3 months with no symptoms, you don't have the virus, right? Yeah. My buddy that needs to go, he's been out of work for 2 months. He's tested 20 times positive. That's one person that's accounting for 20 tests. And he works for a company that has 223,000 employees in Florida. 10% of them.
I wonder how many times that guy will vote for Biden this year.
Oh
Six
yeah,
feet.
dude, it's real weird
I
with
don't
him.
know.
He doesn't vote, but that's
I don't
that's a
know,
different thing.
but-
Yeah.
But he will.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah, no,
50
no, but
times
he'll.
info.
Yeah, no, that's the whole
Well,
thing
that's the thing.
too.
That's what I was. That leads me to what I was just gonna say. I grew up Cuban dad. My wife is Jewish. There's a test site by my
Well-
house. There's a test site. We made a Cuban. Fucking-
God bless you for having a Jewish wife, bro.
Oh, bro.
Hell
She's
yeah.
not a regular Jew either. She's a Middle
Because
Eastern
I
Jew.
know
She's a Moroccan.
I
She's
know a
Moroccan Jew.
Jewish mom. Our original guitarist was a member of the tribe, and his mother just smoking American spirits in the house, watching Wheel of Fortune, baby. Just
Different
fucking-
generation. No, mine's a Moroccan Israeli. Mine's a Moroccan Israeli. She's
Oh, exotic.
Kind of
Like
trip.
real,
But
real Middle
there's
Eastern.
a test site by my house. There's a test site by my house, and the line is around the building every day. I'm not getting on no motherfucking list. I'll be sick as fuck. I'll be like, baby, put me in the basement with take some water and some fucking, give me a microwave. I'll be straight. I'll be good. I'll fucking tough it out. Or if I start to stink, roll me outside. That's it. Fucking. To me, I don't understand the whole thing of like, I'm gonna get a test. They're gonna put me on. I don't want that at all. Then it's gonna be like, hey, if you had COVID, come to this thing and get on the train. Fuck you. No way. I'm not going on no list. No way. No. I don't put bumper stickers on my car with my opinion on it. I don't want nobody to know my fucking business. I'm not getting on anybody's fucking watch list.
Well, here's the thing too, like the media and
I buy guns in Georgia
certain-
and Kentucky.
certain
Go
yeah. Listen, the media and the media, it doesn't matter left or right, which is really weird, is on the whole numbers are rising thing. And then but then like certain states that are very blue or like South Florida is super blue in like the middle of like a super Republican state, right? The three biggest counties are super blue. These three counties are like pushing that narrative, right? And then all of a sudden when they have to, and the person that they have to report to is also in that county, the Florida Department of Health, based in South Florida. So like that's run super blue. The people that are collecting the tests super blue, and then they report to the CDC, which is independent and mostly Obama appointed officials, right? Except for the 10 people that Trump fired. So like that's all gonna push that narrative, and like I said, like I'm not super Trump guy, but he's like, this doesn't seem right. There's too many people walking around, too many people doing things. Stop reporting to that and just report to me. And as soon as they have to report to somebody that's not on their team, oh, it's not that bad. It's okay. I mean, and the other thing is too. So now it's not so bad. The numbers are under 5,000 for 2 days in a row, and I put up all this data too. Like there's and the other thing is that they're pushing is that there's like not enough ICU beds. If you want, I can put a link I can share with both of you guys that shows you the real time ICU bed availability in every single fucking hospital in the state of fucking Florida, bro. You know what dude, there's 9,000 people in the entire state that are hospitalized for COVID right now. Do you know the bed capacity in the entire state of Florida? It's something like 50,000. It's something like 50,000. So that means we've got 41 fucking thousand empty beds. The fucking media is pushing, oh, they're running out of beds. Who? Where the fuck? Show me on this chart where they're fucking out of beds. Show me on this chart where they're fucking out of meds, because that's on the same fucking chart too. Nobody's running out of fucking meds. Nobody's running out of fucking beds. This isn't fucking crazy. They're fudging the fucking number of cases.
Well,
and
look,
they're fucking and that's the reason why you can't fucking go play shows. That's the reason why. Yeah.
Jesus, like they're gonna be fine.
But dude, like, but Florida, like, them fucking fudging all this shit is why you can't play shows. That's why all of our friends can't go to work at their bars. That's why our friends can't open up their fucking bars. It's because it's all like, I don't know what the fuck they're pushing. I don't know if they're trying to push it to like what you said, Andrew, where like, oh, if you have COVID, get on this fucking train. But like, luckily we have a guy that doesn't give a fuck in the White House that he's like, no, this isn't real. Send me the numbers. You know? Like I said, I'm not a fucking huge Trump supporter, but luckily he's just like, he literally just put an end to this fucking fudging the numbers shit, and the only fucking state that's continuing to fudge the numbers, I don't know if you saw, is California, because now all of a sudden all of the cases went down and California's spiked up real quick. They're like, oh, but I thought you guys were doing right, and they're the super fucking liberal state that like they fucking goose step right in line, right?
You think that gets us to Fallout New Vegas quicker?
JoJo.
JoJo Jorgensen.
Yeah,
That's
JoJo.
my girl. Dog.
JoJo will get you to JoJo will get you to Fallout because that'll get you the Republicans and the Democrats to rally the people to fight each other over her. So if you want to get to Fallout,
over her?
that she shouldn't be elected. She shouldn't. It was rigged.
Well, I thought everybody said that there should be a woman president, so now's your chance.
Right?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But and here's the fucked up thing about that.
Since the first Obama election, I got heartbroken. I voted completely weird independent. I think I voted for Ralph Nader one time. I voted for Gary Johnson in the last one. Fucking
dude.
Excuse me, bro.
I voted. Throw weird hooks.
2000 was I could have voted for Bush or Gore. I voted for my dad, and then Obama.
Nice.
I could have.
Wrote in your dad.
Yeah, I wrote in my dad, and he got mad at me. He's like, I haven't done my taxes in 30 years. I was like, oh, all right. I was like, all right. I mean, I fucked up. I said that. Yeah. He was like, don't tell them where I am. Like, I can't be on anything. It's dumb because he doesn't owe money. Like, he's never owed money. But anyway, it's just that he likes to be off the grid, right?
Yeah, stop talking about it.
Sorry. And then the next time I voted,
the
next time I voted, nobody knows who he is. The next time I voted for Ving Rhames because I was watching. Because I was watching Pulp Fiction, and literally I got really high, and I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta vote!" And it was a scene where he had just got set free, and he was gonna fuck up the gimp. Yeah. And the next time I voted for my dead great grandfather, and then I got to vote for Trump. That was it, and I voted for Trump purely to make as many people mad as possible. That's it.
I wish Ross Perot was still around. I like that guy.
Dude.
I wouldn't mind a Dan Crenshaw.
Dan Crenshaw.
Dude, Crenshaw Gabbard. Yes, Crenshaw Gabbard would fucking crush. Dude, I've talked about this with all of our guests, man. Dude, you know what I love about Gabbard? Hillary Clinton fucking talked shit about her, and
she's like a real Democrat. She's not like this crazy like extreme shit.
And her husband's like special forces, and she's an active military. She literally
Crenshaw, same thing, like open minded.
Yeah,
both of them. Like,
but no, Hillary attacked her, and she like looked right into the camera, and she was like, "I'm fucking suing you. You want to fucking do something about it? Come fucking get me." And I was like, "They're not getting her. She's not gonna suicide. She ain't gonna suicide herself. She's gonna just be like throw the bodies on her porch and throw a press conference like Hillary tried to fucking kill me. These guys are dead." Like,
yeah,
that's sup.
I prepared a topic.
Oh,
Let's go.
So
run it.
I knew that we were going to be talking, a good amount about current events and politics. So to try and take a step off of that, a twist off of that, is obviously I feel like everybody needs to have a good distraction, right? Everybody needs to have that thing that they can enjoy, and I know at least for myself and other Brown Andrew is music. And so I was thinking I have like 3 songs that when I listen to them by the end, there's no way I'm going to be in a bad mood, like no matter what's happening. And I wonder what are those songs for some people.
Ooh.
Oh man,
you go first, Andrew. I already know mine because I have to listen to them every fucking day I go onto Facebook.
Songs that put me in a great mood.
Yes, I have to.
So I got mine are probably a little more obscure. Kimbara, fucking Fanny All Stars. It just fucking vibes. It's like one I heard through my whole childhood. That's like a Sunday morning, my mom's cleaning the house song, like you know what I mean, like.
And it starts like with the African drums. I love that.
And then fucking the fucking piano comes in.
Yeah.
And it just fucking rips. Like that's a great one. Fucking another one that I love that makes me think of my granddad, my Italian granddad, is fucking Bing Crosby and the Andrews Sisters. What's it called?
I love his music.
Fuck, what's it? It's
taste.
like, oh, give me
like that shit. Yes,
Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Bing Crosby and the Andrews Sisters. That shit always makes me happy.
I'm gonna write that down.
Fucking Aretha Franklin, Never Loved a Man, is like one of those songs where it's like her, like she gets all her vocal comes right out of her guts. Like,
What was that one? What was that?
Aretha Franklin, Never Loved a Man, like recorded in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Like fucking, that song is like so raw, right out of her guts. Like that song is like you fall in love with her right there, just on her voice. Like passionately in love with her, just on her voice right there. I would make passionate love to 85-year-old Aretha Franklin, like just off of the sound of her voice in that song. Like no problem. Fucking, that's
I wrote him down.
Nice.
What about you, Mike?
So I'm a fucking like emo hipster metal guy.
Oh boy.
Like, yeah.
No.
No.
Not write these down.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna pretend to write them.
No. Like, you won't know who the second two are. Like, the first one's like this Radiohead song, exit music for a film, because it's very depressing, and I like to be depressed. It makes me happy.
It's the white in you. It's
Yeah.
I get that sometimes.
Dude. And then
Seven Spanish Angels is a song. Yeah.
so there's
Makes
this
me sad and
my
happy.
favorite band of all time is this band called ISIS. Now they've been around since 1994, long before 2004 when John McCain started ISIS. They're a metal band. They're like Tool. You like Tool?
Yeah.
If you like Tool, just make them metal, and their songs are 16 minutes long.
I can get into that.
16 minutes long.
I don't want to YouTube search ISIS though.
Actually, no. There's a thing like literally, when ISIS was being a big thing, a bunch of ISIS fans got put on lists because we were like looking up ISIS songs and like stuff like that, and literally
ISIS an Egyptian god also.
goddess, yes, and then like literally ISIS worked with the government to like go through the people.
Did you just assume a gender? Did you just assume a gender, Andrew?
No, you assumed a gender. Anyway.
Is it a bird though? Can a bird
Yes.
be a gender?
ISIS is
Is that a furry?
ISIS is Mary if you translate it over to like the mother of Jesus.
I thought ISIS was like a bird head.
This child is a blessing
Maybe
to
I'm
the
Horus.
thinking of an
Horus.
ibis.
ISIS's son is Horus, and Horus
thinking
had
of an
12
ibis.
disciples, was born on the winter solstice, and of a virgin Isis, right? So
Horus sounds
regardless,
like an
regardless,
English guy who owns a train car.
yeah. Anyway, so
Horus.
they have
Horus
this great
Green,
song.
I own this train car.
They have this great song called "Holy Tears," and the video is brutal as fuck. Like, it's like a dude jumping off of a building in like super detailed CGI. Anyway, that gets me a little pumped. That song's like 9 minutes long, and then
Gets me jacked.
and
bro.
then my second favorite band of all time is this band called Cult of Luna. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie 28 Days Later. There's two bands.
Great movie,
Yeah,
yes.
there's
It's a
two
great
bands.
movie.
Yes. The sound, like, it's literally the song that's playing when the main character like takes things into his own hands, and like he has an axe, and
When he
it's like
starts fucking up the
building
military guys and shit.
intensity, and it's
Yeah.
like the most fucking brutal song ever. That song's
Okay.
called
I think you showed me that song before.
yes,
Yeah.
that song's called Dark City Dead Man, or some play on those four words. Anyway, that song's 15 minutes long, and I listen to it in that order because like I get real low, right,
And then
with the
you
Radiohead, and then I start to build with the ISIS song, right, because it's got a 3-minute Tool bridge in the middle, which is fucking beautiful, and then it ends heavy and brutal as fuck, and then I go into the 15-minute build of the Cult of Luna song, where like it's got both of those last two songs have very few vocals in it, but like the music kind of gets you into the mind of like the last moments before like a serial killer is about to like kill somebody, like the epicness, and then it builds in this epic way. It's euphoric and it's awesome, and it gets that rage out of me without yelling at anybody. It's like I feel the emotions. I feel the emotions build, and then the way they end in like this almost pixelated peacefulness. I'm just like, I'm good. Yeah, I know, yeah. I know you said you weren't gonna write them down, but I was like, maybe he'll write them down because it's not
You
like
sold them really good.
it's not like
well.
it's not when I describe what I like, it sounds like, oh god, I'm gonna hear like
that Cult of Luna song
fucking.
now, and I want to hit the bag to it. Man.
You ready for mine?
It's a great song.
Yeah,
let's go. Do it.
Shit, I almost went through my glass. Listen. So, number 1 is Flashlight by Parliament Funkadelic.
Oh, fantastic song. Great
song.
Fucking love Parliament.
Okay. It's just that bootsy comes that bum 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 bum. Just that walk down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes me want to like go like this, you know? So like that's like a song that I'll play in my head when I walk into a gig. Like when I walk into a venue where I'm playing, I walk into Flashlight in here. You can't touch me. Flashlight's playing. I got that one. Just Another Day by Sam Cooke. Before he was famous, Sam Cooke, he was a gospel singer still. It's actually a gospel song. It's a fucking great song. That song I sing to warm up. I sing it to warm up before every gig. Nice. Because it's like baritone-ish, but he had a real raspy voice.
Yeah, gravel.
So so that song gets me amped up to play, and it's just like I picture that church, like when I was in elementary school, and I went to private Christian school when I was in elementary school. We went to this
I can relate.
We took a field trip to this like old like pilgrimy like Christian village or whatever the fuck, and there was a church there. You know what I mean? And it was basically a barn. And so like when I hear that song, like that's what I think of. Like I think of like that choir up there, like with the 2 like front singers, as hot as a motherfucker, you know, and then like people are like fanning themselves.
Real Southern church.
Yeah, real like Southern Baptist. I don't know, it makes me feel good. And then my last one is Lonesome Monterey and Mean by Waylon Jennings. Okay. I have a Waylon Jennings, like this whole arm for the most part is all music tattoos. Right. So like I try to embody like the spirit of Waylon Jennings, a huge inspiration.
Dude, one of my favorite songs of all time.
Bad motherfucker.
Johnny Cash performed "Ain't No Good Chain Gang" is one of the best performances of all time.
Great song. But like Waylon, like I try to embody his attitude a lot, where it's like because he wasn't arrogant or cocky, but he valued his worth a lot. Like there's a famous story about him where he was gonna be on like late night with whoever was the late night guy at that time. Whoever it was. But he was supposed to be like the second guest on. And the first guest was some woman, and I guess like she was doing real good, so they were gonna carry her past like to the second segment after the first commercial break. They were gonna cut him by like 8 minutes. So they come and they tell Waylon, you know, and this is like one of the first times he's gonna be on like late night national TV, and they go on to tell Waylon that he's gonna get bumped for like 8 minutes because of this woman or whatever. And so the time goes by, and she's finishing up, and they go to a commercial break, come back on, and the guy's like, our next guest, you know, taking Nashville by storm, he's friends with Johnny Cash, Mr. Waylon Jennings. Everybody claps. He left. He left the second that they, you know what I mean? And he was still relatively not a huge deal at the time, you know, like. His saving grace was that he was friends with Johnny Cash, and him and Johnny Cash were roommates. Like they tried to make it in Nashville together. So like we play a Waylon song in our sets, and I always like intro the song. I start playing the chords, and I say like he was roommates with Johnny Cash. He got busted for selling dope to Elvis. That's another fucking true story. He was like a second father to guys like Travis Tritt and Hank Jr. and all these other bad motherfuckers, and it's just like rock and roll wouldn't exist without guys like Waylon Jennings and without guys like Johnny Cash. You know, like they were like you need like those original outlaws. First, you know what but they still had this like gentleman's like creed about them, and it's like I try to embody that. To me, that's the most rock and roll thing. That, like throwing TVs off of a balcony in a hotel, like to me that's dumb. Yeah. But to be like, fuck you, this is what I'm doing. Yeah. And like you'll never disrespect me. Like to me, that's the coolest, the most rock and roll thing you could be. And like our band, if you notice, like we've coined the hashtag rock and roll AF.
Yeah.
And it's like that attitude spawns out of that outlaw country thing. Like, even though I have 2 Zeppelin tattoos, like, it doesn't come from that. It comes from like the Waylands, bro.
That's right.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Huge inspirations to me, yeah. And that's another thing that I love fucking Mike for, bro, is that he loves that shit.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
Michael.
Fucking Morrison.
Yeah, Morrison loves that shit.
Well, that's
he's literally the embodiment of outlaw country.
That's the album we're working on right now. He's like, his whole thing with what we started writing. Like me, I can never consider a genre before I write new music. Like the band I was with before was like a weird psychedelic, like fucking punk rock metal, weird reggae. I don't know what the fuck it was, man, but it was just weird. It was what it was. And then like after that, I was with a couple cover bands out here in Georgia or whatever. And then with Mike, we started writing music, and he was like, "This is gonna be a whole different thing, man. It's like outlaw soul." And I was like, "I don't know."
Badass is what it is.
I was like, "I don't know what that is, but let's make it then." And we're about halfway through this album right now, man, and I cannot wait for music to fucking come the fuck back so we can fucking put.
You guys are fucking phenomenal, bro. The two of you.
It's gonna be so much goddamn fun. I cannot wait to get back.
Your little project that you were talking about for the end of the year, that you were talking to me about, Andrew.
Which
Andrew? You know, the bus thing.
Oh yeah.
Truck, yeah. I was thinking maybe we should try to line up, because I know by that time, like, music will be back, and our brother here will be touring, and we should try to line up some like where when we do that, like where we go
with some dates,
with them,
for sure.
yeah,
for sure.
Because I feel like we'll have to talk to you about this, because I don't want to like spoil too much off air. Sure. But yeah, like I feel like it's something that you'd be into, that would be really cool, that we could do with your band.
Yeah. We definitely are taking our media commitment to this media company we're trying to build pretty seriously, I guess. So,
yeah, my band.
There's gonna be a lot of that. Fucking.
And then once music comes back, we will complete the band's molding into an original band. Actually, what we're gonna do, and this will be my first time saying this anywhere, what we're gonna do actually is
premiere.
We're gonna announce a new band name for the cover band.
Shit.
For the cover band, Sons of a Tradesman will be strictly the original band.
Nice.
Because when we're home, you know, we like to play our 3-4 hour gigs, make some scratch, and bro, like, it's always fun to get on a big stage and play War Pigs. Like,
for sure.
Like, that's always fucking fun, man. Like, that's the shit that's why we picked up our instruments. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like every time we play TNT, or every time we rip the tits off a Zeppelin song, it's like, this is the shit I dreamed about when I was a kid. You know, like, this is amazing to me. But we're gonna. You know, we're supposed to be on tour right now, actually, with Helen Holler, but unfortunately, you know, due to the circumstances of the world, that's not happening.
Yep.
Dude,
but
I think that Florida is going to be the first like place where like a lot of bigger shows and bigger venues are going to open.
Well, we're actually doing a pretty big show actually next month over in like Punta Gorda.
Oh yeah,
it's with this promoter. His name's Lou Phoenix, and he has like a internet radio show where he showcases blues artists and rock and roll artists.
Okay.
But it's really cool what he's doing, bro. So basically, he took like a outdoor amphitheater type of setup, like what we have here in West Palm, and they took all the seats out. So instead of 20,000 seats, they're gonna have, I think, like 2,000 or something
like
parking
tables.
spots.
Oh.
But basically, you park your car, and then the space to the left of your vehicle is yours to have like a lawn space. Like, you can bring chairs, and you can bring a little grill. You can bring a cooler. So it's gonna be like a little baby Woodstock type of vibe. You know what I mean?
Wow.
We're doing that next month. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So I mean, there's people trying to do stuff.
You told me to remind you about Bandcamp.
Oh yes.
There we go. Yeah.
Because
sober.
Because I am not. So you had mentioned, the reason I said that is because you had said something about people opening or starting like bootleg independent venues. Okay, so we have a sound guy that's like our dedicated sound guy. Anytime that we're playing somewhere that doesn't have in-house sound,
Yeah.
we have a guy that we hire that has a whole sound rig, and he's an engineer. His
I
name's
met him. Yeah, dude, I met
Andrew
him.
Pogus. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
great dude, bro.
He's amazing too, by the way.
I love him dearly. I love him dearly. He's a great dude. But him and there's another sound guy that we use sometimes. His name's Turbo.
Yeah.
Okay, because sound guys don't go by their regular names, I guess. But so they both have this connection with this guy named Arthur King, lives out in Okeechobee.
Yeah.
And they have this place called the Band Camp out there. So Turbo hits me up and he says, "Hey man, I got this sweet gig for you. It's a private gig. They're gonna pay you well. They'll feed you, they'll drink you. It's out in Okeechobee. You can spend the night out there. It's called the Band Camp. You in?" I was like, "How much money we talking?" And they're gonna pay us like $1,500, okay, which was good for us, you know.
Yeah.
So
Good
we're
for
like,
one
"Yeah, we'll
night.
take it." So we go out there, and then we took 2 cars, and we're driving. Bro, it took us like 2 hours to get there. And it's like, you drive to Okeechobee County, and then you drive until you see nothing. And then you make a right, and then you drive for like half an hour. And then you make a left, and then you drive along an embankment of a canal, and then the road ends. Like the dirt road ends, and then it's grass. You're just driving on grass. And then at the end, you make a left onto this driveway. You pull into this driveway, and it's heavily wooded, and the first thing you see is there's a mannequin with an FBI jacket and FBI hat. Okay, so, and you pull in through this thick brush, and you come into this big clearing, and there's this big-ass building there. It looks like a house. And on the side, there's a huge mural of Pink Floyd's The Wall, like the face coming through the bricks. Yeah, so we pull up, and there's not that many people there. And this guy pulls up on a 4-wheeler, okay, to introduce himself to us, and he's the main guy. And takes us to the stage. So to get to the stage, you walk through this, like, canopy of brush. You come into this little clearing, and there's a stage. And then they built, like, a dirt mound behind it where there's, like, stadium-style seating. And at the top of it, they have the ass end of a sailboat that they've turned into a bar. At the top of it, some fucking douchebag riding his dirt bike, lots of action. But they turned this sailboat into a bar. So we're out there, and like in the first 2 minutes that we're there, Guido, our guitarist, and yeah, his real name is Mike Guido. He gets out of the car, and this fucking big hillbilly motherfucker walks up to me. He's like, "You can bunk with me tonight." And Guido like kind of looks at him all freaked out and walks away. Dude's wife walks up to Mike and he's like, "Oh, that's my husband. He's just playing, you know. But if you want to come and sleep with us, it's fine." But so we play our first set there, bro, and like the people were going fucking apeshit, and there was nobody there for a while. And the next thing, like, starts pulling up 4-wheelers and dirt bikes and Jeeps and swamp buggies and all kinds of craziness. And the next thing you know, there's like fucking 200, 300 people there out in the middle of nowhere. So we play our first set, and people are going fucking nuts, and we come off the stage, and they have this, like, they took, like, 5 Airstream trailers and, like, welded them together in a circle,
Yeah.
and then covered the middle of it, and that's, like, part of the compound. So you can walk through these Airstream
Nice.
trailers, and then in the middle, there's this, like, common living space. So we would go in there in between sets to do drugs or whatever and to get some AC, and we're in there, and we're chilling. And the main guy, Arthur, walks in. And I'm like, "Yo, man, so what's the deal with this place out here?" He's like, "Oh, bro, band camp?" I'm like, "Yeah, band camp." And he's like, "We built this place because we got sick of getting fucking kicked out of every bar that we went to. So we built it, and we do our own shit here." And at the time, we showed up there, and they had us 2 cases of beer because they asked us what we drink. We said we drink Jameson, we drink Yingling. They had 2 cases of Yingling. They had 2 fucking bottles of Jameson. They gave us all the weed we could smoke, all the moonshine we could drink, and all the mushrooms we could eat.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? They let us spend the night. They paid us $1,500. We'd never been paid that well. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it was all privately funded. Like, everybody just throws into the kitty, You know what I mean? To have a good night. And like playing there that night really changed my attitude of the way that like I presented myself and the band to like other paying venues. It's like, hey, these places like exist.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that are taking care of us.
We should make those. We
Yeah.
should make more of those, man.
Yeah.
They do it.
Yeah. I feel
They're out there.
like you know that band Girls Only from Port St.
Yeah.
Lucie? I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
know
my
that.
buddy Sean knows about that place, the guitar player. The one that looks like he should be in Mastodon. Yeah, I feel like he knows about that place because he's always posting stuff from Okeechobee. Like he's always four-wheeling out there.
That's probably it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and if you spend the night, the next morning they'll take you out four-wheeling and shit, and make you
Hunting and
breakfast.
shit. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's fucking
I
great.
love Okeechobee. Like that's the other thing. It's kind of weird in Palm Beach County because I feel like the way people that live in Palm Beach County talk about, or like not, it's because that's technically unincorporated. The edge of Okeechobee is technically unincorporated Palm Beach County. But
So nice.
I feel like the people that live out here on the coast and like in the city, they kind of like look down at people in Okeechobee. I'm like, nah, man,
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
dude, like Okeechobee people are fucking great, and also they probably have more money than you. You know, and like they probably have more shit than you, or shit that you want, or like that you can't afford. Like it's like they're better than you, and that's why they live way out the fuck out
Bro,
there, you know.
listen,
And like every way, like morally, spiritually, like just in their stances, and like, and also then if the way that people value themselves monetarily, they are definitely better
Listen,
than all the
we all
people that talk
live
shit
in,
about them.
we all live in or have lived in Florida, right, for a number of
for
years.
sure.
Yeah.
Have either one of you ever been to a rodeo?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually
Davey.
lived in Colorado for like 8 years. I used to go
Davey,
to rodeos
Florida,
all the time,
man.
Yeah.
Let me tell
Davey,
you.
Florida, right under the motherfucking.
Let me tell you something, bro. You ain't lived until you listened to Garth Brooks's Rodeo
Yeah.
on the way
At
to a rodeo.
To a rodeo. Yeah.
That's living, baby.
Dude,
Yeah.
what was it? I'm gonna
That's living.
gonna kind of bring it back to, you know, I guess political topics. But
Yeah, go for it.
so one of our guests was talking about how like white supremacists and like the KKK are like alive, like and strong numbers, like even in Palm Beach County, and
Really?
and I think Andrew and I said like show us, like bring us there, like show them to us, because we don't
Oh,
see
I
them,
love that
right?
guy.
And
Yeah, I can't say I've ever seen any KKK people out in West Palm.
Yeah,
Fucking
and
in that area.
If I did, I saw him at a punk or a hardcore show at
Right.
Proper Respects.
so that's what I said, and they were like, oh no, those aren't real like fascist or whatever. The guy said it was like at like rodeos and like the country fest, and I was like
Dude,
really,
absolutely not.
dude,
Absolutely not.
and then I was just like, literally, I instantly went to like Mike, right? I was like, Mike, you go to these things like all the time. And like this wasn't in the same conversation, but I asked him the next time I saw him. I was like, you go to these rodeos all the time and like these country fests. He's like, you see Klans people? Are people mean to you? And he's like, no, they love me. And I was like, okay, well, I was just told.
Sorry there, take a tumble. Sorry about that.
I was just told that all the Klansmen and white supremacists are in the rodeos.
I don't know,
And,
maybe that's like an
yeah,
assumption.
man.
I've been to. There's rodeos.
Yeah, that's
that
the thing.
happen
I don't
up
think
here,
they've been there.
in Georgia. That
They
I've
haven't been
It's
to
like
them.
a lot of people with their kids and shit.
Hey, cheers to you guys for
Salud,
having me on here
salud.
because I'm having a good time.
I'm having a
good
blast.
time.
I'm gonna
It's the best way to
cheers.
spend a Thursday.
Cheers,
with
my
a-
diabetes medicine.
Diabetes.
My beatus. I got the beatus. Or as they call it in Georgia, the sugars. You ain't got nothing but the sugars.
No S on the end. The sugar. You got
The sugar.
You got the sugar.
You got the sugar.
In your family, they say the must sugar.
Yeah.
My sugar. That's a great band. That is a great 16 minutes of math metal that you will never get back if you listen to one of their songs.
I know that. That's like, have you listened to King Gizzard? You know them?
Yeah.
Dude, their last record is phenomenal. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Dude, I'm only getting into stuff because like I was actually talking about this with Andrew. Like I'm kind of like the music that I gave you for like my 3 songs. That's like kind of just what I've been going like that genre like forever. But my band,
my music taste is somebody who's like born in the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Like,
but I love that shit. But like my band shows me shit like King Gizzard all the time. Like
they're good.
Dude, my guitar player and my drummer, they just all the time they're like, what is new or like what is good that nobody's listening to? And we have like a little Discord chat, and they're just posting the best shit that like I've never heard. And like I am kind of like musically, you know, like in one lane, but like, and the crazy thing is like the like that metal, those two metal bands, that's my favorite shit to listen to and play. But I'm only ever in bands that sound like Radiohead mixed with explosions in the sky. Like,
damn.
That's it. That's the only type of shit that I play. That people want to play with me. You know?
I just sing, so I don't know. I love. For me, genres are always weird. Like, it's hard to find what the fuck they mean to me.
I hate genres and subgenres, bro. Like, anytime somebody asks me, like, what kind of music do we
fucking
make?
Play rock and roll, bro.
It's rock and roll, bro.
Yeah, man. That sounds like my guitar player when I'm, like, trying to, like, pull from genres when we, like, make our totally, like, weird, atmospheric, instrumental music that's, like, sometimes, like, 8 minutes long. He's like, no, man. Like, he's like, it doesn't matter, like, what you want to call it. We're just playing, like, we like rock and roll. This is just rock, man. We just play rock. Yeah.
Yeah, just good music. Yeah.
I'm like, but it's like epic, atmospheric, instrumental, post, and he's like, no. He's like, stop talking. I'm like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a funny for you, Leah. I got a funny for you. So, like a week or two ago, my girlfriend and I we went to go and have lunch at a fine dining establishment. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called the Chili's. We went to the Chili's.
Yes.
And we walk in, and my girlfriend, she's wearing like a crop top with a flannel, like tied up, and high waist jeans, hot as fuck. And we walk in, and the hostess is a larger white woman with like a purple mohawk and like gauged ears and shit like that.
That person?
And she instantly like looks my girl like up and down. You know what I mean? Up and down. So we go and we sit at the table, and she walks away, and I was like, "Bet you that lady's an avid protester." Avid protester. So the reason that I bring that up...
What gave it away?
So the reason that I bring that up is, can you tell generally what political alignment somebody has just by looking at them?
Yes.
Yeah. Only if they're extreme.
Yeah.
Only on the extremes.
I can tell. Well, that's the thing. I can tell if somebody
those people who have like a political leaning.
Exactly. I can tell what a person looks like that is left of centrist left leaning. I can tell anything left of there. I can instantly tell. Instantly,
what about right of a certain point?
It's harder.
I mean, I can tell that. Like, they're probably wearing something that says Trump on it. And if you're like, I was wearing a funny Trump shirt. I wasn't wearing like a MAGA shirt. I was wearing the shirt where he's riding the tank. The bald eagle had the fucking 50 cal machine gun, and on the barrel of the tank it says "You're fired." Yes, my wife.
That's hilarious.
My wife, who's black, bought me that shirt. Like I love my wife so much. She is the best.
Spoiler alert.
She is the best, bro. I fucking love her. She is great.
Bro, who cares if my dad is a cop? Your wife is black?
Oh, yeah. Dude, here's the crazy thing. My wife is sweet as pie, but thinks more right than I do, right?
Really?
And she just gets home, and she works in the medical field, and she just unloads, because for some reason a lot of people in the medical field super liberal, and she just unloads on me about how she can't fucking stand these people just spewing, like they openly spew like liberal hate speech, and she's like, they don't even know that they're like talking about me.
Okay, first of all, liberals can't be accused of hate speech.
That's right,
because they are
also black
tolerant.
People. Also black people can't be racist.
It's tolerant. But look, I don't ever want to come off as like a hater of one party more than the other. Like,
I do. Honestly, I do when it's deserved, because
I'm probably not even gonna.
Listen.
I'm sorry to my family. I'm probably not even gonna vote. Honestly,
it doesn't matter.
Election. Because it's like,
Listen, I'm
it's
so
so,
centrist. I am so centrist that I hate whichever side is being the loudest and the most ignorant. And currently,
which is both of them all the
no.
time.
The right wing side is a little bit quieter right now,
Yeah.
but the left wing side is really fucking loud, and they control right now all of social media, most of the larger internet websites, and all the more popular
Well,
mainstream
that's
media.
because the right wing side hasn't started setting shit on fire yet. But our
Yeah.
day is coming. Our
Well, I
day
know
is
they
coming.
were trying to do that when Obama was president, in which case I said the right wing people are being more loud and ignorant and saying dumb shit. Because that was the truth. Like that's just
It
where I am.
is true.
It doesn't matter. I don't have like a fucking blood oath to either side, you know? If you're being crazy on one side or the other, I'm going to fucking call you out for it and probably call you an idiot and you're going to fucking hate me. Right now, a majority of the people in public, online, and anywhere that are loud and obnoxious right now, like that hostess, right? Like where like you tell me when you go to a Chili's where somebody is wearing like a MAGA hat, then I'll believe that they're equally being loud and obnoxious, right? But
Yeah.
that's literally she was literally wearing the uniform, as Dave Chappelle would say, wearing the
Yeah.
uniform of an extreme leftist social justice warrior at work.
Yeah. I have
But
another
now,
good.
At work.
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
wonder though. I wonder though. Like, how much do you think of that shit is like just a vent because of the fact that we are so like comfortable and lazy culturally now, like as Americans, like the majority of Americans, like I actually feel like really privileged that I'm like the son of an immigrant because I feel like my
Yeah.
mentality is so much more different than people that I know who have been here for generations. Now there are people who have hustle in them even though they've been here for generations, but it seems to me there's a different kind of way of thinking,
Yeah.
and that there's some other way that I look at things than a lot of the people that I see who have been here longer. Maybe it's just
They're too
we're
comfortable.
taught to be more grateful. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They've been
I
here for
just
too long. They're
noticed.
too comfortable.
I notice a difference for sure.
They
Well, I definitely think that like growing up like in an immigrant family, you're taught to question more, and I feel like that definitely makes a difference. Like I feel like especially with well on both sides of the fence, like the blind loyalty and the blind
Yeah.
trust
Of either side.
is a huge problem. Is a
Yes.
huge
Yeah,
problem.
it doesn't exist.
Yeah, and it's like asking questions is one of the greatest things about living here is that we have the right to ask questions of our leadership and speak
Yeah.
our piece. So I mean that's why I commend people like David, David that worked at Respects too. David Ray is his name on Facebook. Like him and I don't see eye to eye on 9 out of 10 things politically, and I challenged him one time. I was like, "Why are you making all this noise on the internet? Why don't you go and do something?" And he was like, I am, and I didn't know, but at the time he does a lot of work with that charity. Is like H3, like Hospitality Helping Hands.
Oh yeah.
He does a lot of work for them. And then a couple of weeks later, I see that this video is going viral here locally of this guy ripping the shit out of the city council and the mayor of West Palm Beach. And it was
Who are
fucking David.
Democrats? Who are Democrats?
Who are Democrats?
Yeah.
And it was David. You know what I mean? And it was like I had posted something or whatever, commending him for doing that. And it's like, dude, regardless of your party alignment, it's like I will always champion for the cause.
Yeah.
For you to take, advantage of all the civil liberties that you have available to you and the rights of competence.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's your right. It's your right
Yeah.
to do so.
I actually
we
want to
have
talk
to.
about the our stupid county commissioners and mayor.
Oh, I
After-
would be happy to.
After I have another funny hostess story. There's this place by the Palm Beach County Mall or the Palm Beach Mall outlets, right? It's a burger place, BJ's or whatever. They don't-
BJ's Brew House.
Yeah. They don't have the best service, but our hostess, like my wife and I, we went there one time, right? This is when they were like first opening, so it was kind of understandable why they were kind of like running around with chickens with their heads cut off kind of deal. But like she tried to seat us like 3 times. There was nobody else in there but maybe 5 other people. brought us back to wait because she didn't understand like where to seat somebody. And then like this is gonna sound very prejudiced, but at one point I realized she had a Hatchet Man, the ICP logo tattooed on her neck, and I was like, oh, she's like retarded.
What do they
Like,
call those people?
Juggalos. She's a juggalette. I was like, hey, she's a juggalette. And my wife's like super like sheltered, and she's like, I don't even know what that is. And I was like, okay, just remind me when we leave. So then I sat down. So we sat in the car.
Videos.
Yeah, we sat in the car. I showed her the Miracles music video, and she's like, oh, this is a joke. And I'm like, these guys are dead fucking serious.
And they're
so
super
are they.
famous.
Yeah, they're super famous, and their fans are crazy people. I'm like, that girl has probably like run a train, like had a train run on her of juggalos, and they've all peed in her mouth. And she was like, ugh. And I'm like, yeah, that's the person that sat us at our table. And she's like, oh, gross. Let's never go back there. Like, that's not why we don't go back there.
I want to take this opportunity to plug BJ's Brew House.
This was years ago when they first opened. So, like, if they're better now, cool. But we
They have
didn't go back.
surprisingly good pizza.
Yeah?
Surprisingly good pizza.
They got her burger order wrong like 3 times, too, after they sat us. Like, they had to keep bringing it back out. Like,
Yeah, but
like
you
it was
guys,
yeah.
as part of it, you guys are both involved in music and are friends with people in the music community down here. So if I can take a minute to shoot a good plug, I know I talked about Connolly's earlier, which is the greatest dive bar on the face of the planet. I love Connolly's, but I definitely want to take a minute. I'll make sure to wear their shirt.
Yeah.
But I want to shout out Crazy Uncle Mike's big time, bro. Like,
Fuck yeah.
Mike Goodwin, bro, and his staff there are an absolute godsend to the music community down here. And, like, you want to talk about setting a precedent and a good one in a time where people are scared to make commitments because they're afraid that those commitments will then be, you know, unjustly aligned with something. Like, Mike got on the streaming, him and there's a guy that works there, his name's Noel Hendricks, to give him his credit also, was his idea to start doing the Corona Fest, which was the live streaming of the bands in an empty restaurant, and they would play for tips. So they started doing that, and then as they were able to open back at 50%, in that time they were doing to-go and the beer like a lot of places were. But those guys there, like, have made such a commitment to the music scene. Like, I haven't seen that anywhere else.
I was gonna say, when you post that, I'm like, wow, you're playing there a lot, and like they're promoting you too.
Like, they hung a fucking 6-foot wide picture of me on the wall there, and there's
Awesome.
a picture of Mick and Hunter hanging in there.
Yeah.
There's a picture of Patrick Farinas from the Flyers hanging in there. There's a picture of fucking Jam and the Sweets hanging in there.
That's
You
awesome.
know, and I think Nate Largent, the big reggae band, bro, like the 12-piece reggae band. I can't believe I'm forgetting their name right now. The Resolvers. Their pictures hanging in there. Like, he donned the walls of his restaurant with the faces of the local music scene. You know, so like, I implore people out there that I know, like, some people don't want to go out, and that's perfectly fine. But, you know, there's places out here that are struggling to survive, and in the midst of that are still making sure that they're taking care of us, you know? And, like, I cannot stress that enough. Like, there's people that right now are asking us to play for free, that are asking us to play for half price, for quarter price. You know what I mean? Like, Mike makes sure that not only do we get paid, but that we drink and that we leave with full bellies. You know what I mean? Which right now, like, that makes all the difference to somebody, bro. To have a meal that you don't have to pay for, you know, makes all the difference to people right now. So, like, obviously want to give a huge shout out to Crazy Uncle Mike's and how much love they show to the music community. But more importantly, just, like, to get out there and to support your local industry, man. Like,
Absolutely.
I know I went and ate at the Chili's, but I definitely go and eat plenty of chicken wings at Connolly's.
That still stimulates the local economy.
Yeah,
There's still local people working there.
And don't forget, too, when you go to these restaurant bars, because, like, we all go there to do the same thing that we would do at regular bars. Like, Don't forget that bar staff is operating at 50% capacity. Like, be generous with your tip, or stay the fuck at home. Like, you know, we're all just trying to eat from the same table right now. So
last time I was down, I was with Mike Morrison. We were out and about, and we saw so many examples of that poor behavior. It was like, this is why we can't have anything nice.
Actually,
nice things.
I have a good segue, actually, from the tipping.
I'm all about it.
From the tipping thing. So my wife is black, and when we first started dating, she was talking about like sometimes she gets poor service and she thinks it's because she's black, and I was like, well, like dating people and also working in the service industry, you have like an 80% chance black people aren't going to tip, and she was like, what? And I was like, I mean, like, it's not racist. It's just like when you talk to some like a black person that doesn't tip, they have a very, like, to them what seems a logical explanation.
It's a very like, Mr. Pink attitude.
It's not my fault that you decide to work at a place where you have to survive on tips. I'm going out there and I'm trying to, right? Yeah, like that's their attitude. I see
you snacking, dog.
And she was like, but like literally, she couldn't fathom that people of any color like don't tip, and like to this day she'll just be sitting there and like we'll order some food and we tip really well, you know, because we're able to, and she'll just be like, oh, black people don't tip, and I'm like, what? Oh yeah. And she's like, I can't believe I never knew that. This is like years later. She said this like the other day. I was like, yeah, it's just a thing. Like,
well, it's like Europeans don't tip either.
Yeah, Europeans just don't know because their people are paid better. It's like, once again, that's not a racist thing. I mean, she sounds like she makes it a racist thing, but that's okay. It's okay.
That's
okay.
Generationally, though, too, it's different too. Like my grandfather.
I have two other questions too here.
Like you tip like $1.20.
I love it. I love it.
Old school as fuck.
I'm having a great time.
I have a question about your guitar player, Mike. Does he have because he has a very I don't know, it's not a common last name, and I know I played Magic with this young kid whose name was John Guido. Is that like his? Does he have a younger brother named John? Little fat pudgy kid with curly hair.
He has a brother named, I think, Joey. I don't know if he has a brother named John.
Because is this little?
Maybe it's a cousin or
little
something.
Porky,
it's not a very
fat
common
kid.
last name.
It's not.
Listen, his last name is Guido.
Yeah.
And there's families from Michigan, from Dearborn, Michigan.
That's where this kid's family's from. It's gotta be. They gotta be related.
Yeah, but my favorite part is that they own pizza joints.
Yeah, that's what
his father was also an architect. The pizza joint's like a side venture.
That's literally where this kid was saying. He's like, I don't want to have to work at the pizza place. I want to go do film.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be related. Yeah.
Gotta be a thing.
He's gotta know him. But he's just this little hilarious. He literally, this John Guido kid literally is George Costanza. Like, he doesn't know that he's being so inappropriate. He's like George Costanza mixed with Kramer. He doesn't know that he's saying some inappropriate stuff. He literally got like 200 people to not shop at one place by accident. Like, not play Magic at like the oldest place to play Magic in West Palm by accident. He was like, "Yeah, they gave me this free card for playing there."
What was the place? Past, present, future?
Yeah, past, present, future. Yeah.
That place is dope.
Yes, I love that place, but the Magic community hates it for the dumbest reason. I'm gonna just real quick. There used to be a guy that worked there. There used to be a guy that worked there that was a piece of shit to everybody that played Magic. He was misogynistic. He was a misogynistic asshole piece of shit. Quit, right?
What did he look like?
Skinny kid named Matt. He had dick cancer, ball cancer, dick or ball cancer, whatever. So he quit.
Listen. Those things are not interchangeable.
Yeah.
Those things are not.
I know they're not interchangeable, but he had some genital cancer. Regardless, so he quit. Right? He quit.
Thank you.
And
Understandable.
Then the Magic community starts talking shit about a terrible employee, right? And it's him. He jumps on the bandwagon. He's like, that place is a piece of shit. I used to work there. You shouldn't ever fucking go there. Those people are terrible. And everybody's story is about him being an asshole.
That's funny.
But they don't know that it's him. And he's like, yeah, fuck that guy. And I'm like, it's you. So also the Magic community hates me because I'm not super SJW. And they fucking call me a child abusing boomer Trump supporting Nazi.
But who the fuck is the Magic community?
Listen,
It's like 8,000. It's like 8,000 kids with a fucking liberal arts degree.
Who all live at their mom's house?
Yeah.
Listen, speaking of Magic, today while I was getting my haircut, because this is.
I know fucking Santeria Magic. That's all I know.
Yeah, what's up? I know bottle Magic.
Dude, this sounds like my ex, man. My ex was half Cuban and white.
For fucking Lázaro. That's all I know.
One of them.
Oh God, she would say that shit all the fucking time.
One of the barbers told me that I looked like a wizard.
Yes.
And I told him that I was in fact a wizard, and that they used to call me the grandest of wizards.
Sometimes a dragon.
But they can't call me that anymore.
That's hilarious. Oh God.
Yeah, thank you. I thought it was hilarious
great.
too. I thought it was also hilarious.
I have a funny story. The funny story I have is about getting kicked out of Conley's. They used to do like a stand-up night there that was hosted by one of my old bosses, who was the manager of a big box guitar store on Haverhill and Okeechobee. Anyway.
Guitar Center.
Oh no! Don't say the words.
I'll say it, bro.
I worked there. I was a slave there for a while, and that guy
can't say slave. Can't say slave.
Oh shit! Oh God. No, it's okay. My wife's
According
black.
to Kanye, that was your choice.
Literally, literally one of my friends he's legitimately one of the smartest people in the world, right? He always tells me, he's like, man, I swear you married your wife just so you could be like, it's okay, my wife's black. I'm like, you motherfucker, you know me, but that's not the reason. Yeah, anyway, he knows my wife too. Anyway, no, so this guy who used to be my boss at Guitar Center, doing open mic nights, right, at Connolly's for stand up, and I was like, I'll go, because my one fellow employee friend was like, yeah, we go there, we drink, have a good time. It's a bunch of old guys, right? And I was like, cool. So I went there, and I was doing like stand up in Riviera, and I was not doing too bad. So I was like, fine, I'll go, to this classic rock crowd and do some stand up. I tell one joke, and it does the opposite of killing. I get kicked out, and it was I start talking about Eric Clapton and how I idolize him and all that stuff, and they're like, yeah, hell yeah, all this stuff, right? And then I just say, I'm like, all I'm saying is he wouldn't have thrown a bag of cocaine out the window, or let a bag of cocaine fall out the window. Silence. My old boss just grabs the mic at my head. He's like, you get the fuck out of here and you never come back. And I was like, all right, bye.
Well, the last time I did stand up,
all over a dead baby joke?
Yeah. Like,
the last time I did stand up, I started my set by saying, so I went to Carvel today and I got a beer compliment from a seated Jew. And then I just walked off stage.
My first time.
That was the end of my stand-up career. I gave it up for Lent.
My first time doing stand-up, I was working in a primarily black call center, and they were like, man, you're funny. You should like tell some of these jokes at this club. They do stand-up. And I was like, oh, okay, where is it? They're like, it's right down the street. I'm like, oh, right down the street's not a good part of town. Okay. So I meet them, and I'm like, are you sure I should start off with this joke? And they're like, that's your best joke. Just start off with that, and they'll like it. And it's like 30 people from work, but they're all standing in the back, right? And I just get up there. I'm like already kind of sweating because I'm in a black club, and they just call me white.
No, I understand.
So I had
white people sweat.
Yeah. I'm a half white too, so it makes sense. I was only a little sweaty. I had this black shirt, and I had the Black Dahlia murder band.
Can't say black.
No. Like the color of my shirt, like this shirt was black, and then in black, like metal writing. You know, the scratch metal band logo writing.
Yeah.
It was the Black Dahlia murder. I was wearing that, so it was black on black, right? And I was like, "Hey guys, pleasure to be here. You like my shirt? It's black on black, like most crime in Riviera Beach." My friends in the back didn't laugh. My friends in the back didn't laugh for 1 minute. I thought I was going to die. Nobody else laughed. And I was just like, and I just my friend said I immediately was wet and just pouring, right? I was just pouring. And then they finally were like, we couldn't take it anymore. We all started laughing. Because as soon as they started laughing, the whole club started laughing. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. And then I just went on with like my 5 minutes and they were like, yeah, it was great. And then like literally the whole rest of the night, they're like, we're getting you drunk, man. Because that was hilarious watching you. They're like, you went up there, you were a little sweaty, but as soon as you said that joke and we didn't laugh, you looked like somebody just poured the fucking Gatorade bucket on you. And I was like, I thought I was going to die. I was like, is this how I die? Do I get stabbed in the parking lot? They're like, man, you're good. We got you. But like, it was great. Like, I thought it was funny. The situation was funnier than any joke that I told the whole night. And
honestly,
it's just great.
I'm gonna do stand up again. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to read transcriptions of Joe Biden interviews.
Oh my god.
The ones where he falls asleep?
Anytime somebody is like,
dog-faced pony soldier.
They run their hand up my leg, and when they touch my leg, the hair would stand up, and they'd say they were
You're full of shit.
I learned a lot about black people sitting in my lap. And I saw roaches for the first time, and Junebug had a chain. He would swing the chain around with a rusty razor. Back then, you put the razor in the rain barrel. That's how you
popcorn.
Get, that's
popcorn.
How you get rusted. And that's why you got to think about Congress for a future America. And you know the thing.
Joe Biden running for Senate. My favorite Joe Biden quote, though, is poor kids are just as smart as white kids.
Oh, God.
It's my favorite Joe Biden quote.
My favorite Trump ad that recently came out is just a 4-second clip of Joe Biden going like, we cannot win this election. I mean, we have to elect Donald Trump. And then it pauses, and then it's just Donald Trump's voice is like, I approve this message.
I love the text messages I get from the Trump
campaign. I do. I fucking get them every day. I get them from Donald Trump Jr.
And I'm like, yo.
The only text messages I get are from Biden, and I always send Joe Jorgensen memes to them. That's all I send.
No, like, I'll take my girl out to eat, and I'm like, yo, you want to see me text the president back real fast? Because I have that.
Oh, wait. So do you get Trump mail then, right? Like you get mail.
Of course, I get Trump mail. I get Trump mail.
Do you remember?
Trump mail?
Do you remember?
Bro,
oh, dude, if you've ever registered Republican, ever, or even clicked any box that said you would support Trump ever, right? Let alone like me, I filled out a form that said I registered Republican and voted for Trump, so I get double Trump mail. You get these you get these what look like beautifully handwritten envelopes. Yeah, these beautifully handwritten envelopes, and then you open it up and it's pages of like what would be like a Trump speech that look like they're handwritten, and at the end, like when you're going through it, then a fucking donation form falls out. So yeah, so you get Trump mail, so you know what I'm talking about. It's all hilarious. It's literally worded to get you riled up to donate. Did you see the thing that a lot of musicians were sharing on Facebook? Somebody shared one of those letters, and they're like, he's calling people to war. He's trying to gather an army of these people. And I was like, excuse me? And they're like, no, dude, this is rhetoric that Hitler used to rally the people. And I'm like, bro, I get those every other day. What they didn't show you is there's a fucking donation form at the end. They only showed you one paragraph. And then I literally just started taking pictures of, I just went to the mailbox. I'm like, I will go right now. I guarantee there's one of these letters in my goddamn mailbox.
The Hitler comparison is getting so fucking old.
Yeah,
man.
Dude. And I just took pictures of the actual letter, and then I circled the one paragraph that they posted, and I'm like, and then I made a real big picture of the donation form. I'm like, it's a fucking donation letter. They just want your money. Look, they'll take $3 of your money. That's my favorite one. Like my favorite little box that they've got there. They're like, it's literally $3, right? Like, and they're like, no, he's rallying troops. They're like, don't you have anything better to do than refute this? And I was like, well, not right now.
Oh shit.
I'm like, no, I don't have anything better to do. If you're gonna fucking call a stupid fundraising form that gets sent to somebody fucking rallying the troops like fucking Hitler, then yeah, I got all the time in the world to fucking refute your dumb ass. I was just like, what the fuck? Really? You think this is Hitler? You think this is fucking Hitler?
What do they call them? Dog whistles? There's like dog whistles. Like
dog whistles.
Yeah.
Fucking angle where people just like freak out. It's like a pastime now, freaking out about it.
Yeah, like that picture, like that image on the Trump shirt that was the eagle with the circle logo.
Yeah.
That was supposedly a dog
God.
whistle because it looked like a Nazi logo. Hey,
I don't know what the fuck.
God
I
damn.
have two questions. Number one, have you ever had anyone take a piss on the podcast before? 'Cause
No.
No, I was about to. Honestly, I gotta pee real bad.
Don't worry, because I got you covered.
All right. Peeing
That's
for the
question
both of
number-
us.
That's
Listen.
question number one.
All right. Number 2.
I'll let you know when I'm done with question number one.
This is great, man. So
that's
like,
wonderful.
I was also
Podcast
talking to Andrew too, man. Like, I kind of want to like the way we're doing rants. If you want to do a rant, like, we'll
Yeah,
record
we'll
that shit
produce
and
it
put
for
it
you.
out. Yeah, man. Like,
I want to rant about all kinds of stuff.
yeah, man. Let me know. We'll get into a call. I'll fucking put it out.
You want to know what's one thing I want to rant about? Is
Fucking
how
go.
people, you know how many times I've heard people tell me that Linkin Park is better than the Beatles?
Oh,
I'm
what?
sick. I'm
Wait,
sick of that.
wait. Listen, I was an idiot in 2001, and that was my favorite band, and I would never say that.
Okay, well, people say that.
Who?
People say that,
Who's-
Michael.
Where? Who?
Everywhere.
Name
Oh,
names.
Not name names.
Name names.
Name
I'm not
names.
naming
This is
names.
like the
We need
Nuremberg
names.
trials.
You need
This is
names
the
for that.
this is the Nuremberg trials right here, bro.
That's a
We need
crime.
names.
That's a crime
That's a
against
hate
music.
crime. Ugh.
I'm not naming any names.
Mm-mm.
Hey, though.
I like
I got-
bands better than the Beatles.
Yeah, many. I like many, but you can't understate their importance.
Yeah.
Okay, because every band ever has been influenced by the Beatles.
Yeah.
The
Their
Beatles
importance
were
is-
the first. The Beatles were the first band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They can't be understated, their importance.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro,
Right.
it's
No
the
matter what you
fucking
think of them,
Beatles, bro.
You know, stylistically or whatever.
I don't
The fucking
understand that. That was Linkin Park was my favorite band when I was
Sorry.
in the throes of ecstasy use. and also PCP and mushrooms and acid. Any hallucinogen I could get my
Did
hands
you want to
on.
hang out? You wanna
Yeah,
hang
for
out?
real, right? I'm a dad now. I can't go anywhere.
I'm not.
I know, but I'm stuck. Anyway, I'm stuck
Living
at
that
home, not
dad
doing
life.
drugs, being sad. Anyway,
I'm at home.
I know. But my wife's not as cool. I didn't say that on a recorded podcast anywhere. No, I don't
Sorry.
understand, man. Like, even in like my super drugged up haze of loving Linkin Park so much that I wanted to get the first album cover tattooed on me huge somewhere. I never
Oh,
was
boy.
like they're better than the Beatles, you know?
No,
That's
I'm
I don't
sorry.
Yeah,
understand.
people say that.
What? Like, I don't understand.
You want to know what else I want to say on here on the record?
Are these
Get it on the
musicians? Wait, are these
On the-
musicians?
They're musicians. On record, though, I also want to say that Mick from Spread the Dove doesn't like AC/DC. He doesn't
I
like
mean,
them.
I'm not a fan of AC/DC, but I don't
Well,
not
guess
like
what,
them.
Bill? You're wrong.
I don't not like them. I don't not like them. Jesus.
I think again that's another band you can't understate their importance.
I'm not saying that they're not important. I'm saying I'm not saying that they're fucking great.
AC/DC.
I'm saying like
No,
other
they're not.
bands. Yeah.
They're the greatest band to ever do 4/4 for a whole career. But
And the same scale.
1/4/5 till
Yeah,
I
man.
die, bro.
Dude, yeah, man. You can do a lot of variations, man. And then
I love it.
tones.
I love
yeah,
AC/DC so much, bro.
But wait, so these are musicians, people that also play music, that are saying
Yes.
Linkin Park is better than the Beatles.
Yeah, they're the same type of guys that play out of Kemper rigs instead of real amps. They're those guys.
The rack mount guys, yeah.
Yeah, I don't deal with those guys. Like the
I
guys
don't know what any of that means. I sing into the mic. That's all I got. I don't
they're
know.
like the guys.
they play
that
through
think that, like,
A computer and a speaker as opposed to like an amplifier.
Yeah, and they love bands like Modest Mouse.
I like
know?
Modest Mouse, but like,
They got that
You
good
would like
song.
Modest Mouse.
but not like, crazy.
I saw Modest Mouse.
I know the people you're
Black
talking about.
Keys. Black Keys put on a dope ass show. That
Yeah,
was
Black
fucking
Keys are
fun
good.
fucking- that was a fun fucking stage
I
show.
got to see the Black Keys before they were big.
So-
The Black Keys, because I went to college in Columbus.
Right.
And they're from Akron, and the closest big
They're
city
right
to them is Columbus. Yeah.
So do these same
So-
people? I'm sorry, I'm just having trouble grasping. Like I can't, like the
No,
way,
I would love to talk about it.
like the way my wife couldn't grasp that black people don't tip. I can't grasp that somebody that plays music would say that the Beatles or that Linkin Park is better than the Beatles, because I've met Mike from Linkin Park because I was like super fan, like I said. He doesn't think they're better than like classic rock bands. Like the guys in Linkin Park understand what they are. You know what I mean?
First of all, nobody is better than the Beatles, and nobody is better than Rush. Let's just start there. Rush
is pretty technically.
Well, we're gonna have some disagreement with the Rush thing because
you want to fight?
Because King Crimson is the reason Rush decided to play it like they wanted to play, and Neil Peart said that he was not better than Bill Bruford. That's just a thing. That's just
a guy being humble.
No. That is the most praised technician of his instrument saying that there is somebody better because he can't play some of the King Crimson stuff. That's what I'm saying.
You guys can take all that and do whatever you want with it. It's Dean Martin or you go fuck your mother. That's what I'm gonna fucking tell you right now. It's the original gangsters. Okay?
I'm a Carl Perkins guy.
But I don't understand. So these guys play music though.
Yeah.
And just the drumming. These guys think Ringo is a bad drummer too, right? These guys probably think.
Listen, that's pretty common. I don't want to spoiler you right now, but most people think Ringo's a bad drummer.
Yeah, I know.
I'm pretty sure all the Beatles thought Ringo was a bad drummer.
What the fuck are you talking about? No, they fought to get him in the band.
He was just a good drummer for the Beatles.
They fought to get him in the band because he was a well-known, really good drummer, and they actually told him to hold back for most of the albums. And then when they let him go in the Yellow Submarine, they're like, "Fucking go, bro!" Literally, like the shoegaze, progressive type bullshit that all the emo guys love, right? Like he literally was playing that in the fucking 60s before that genre even fucking farted out of fucking Van Halen's nutsack in the fucking 80s, you know?
I also love hair metal, and I don't care. I'll say it on record.
But I'm saying, like,
it's fun.
They'll quote like these other people as like inventing their genre, and I'm like, no, the Beatles invented your genre, bro, because they pretty much, it was literally from the 60s to like the 70s, it was literally them and Neil Young inventing every modern version of whatever genre that you play.
For me personally, like the Beatles are important because
those two people
kind of gave Joe Cocker a platform, and Joe Cocker vocally is like
Joe Cocker is great.
Like,
I know Joe Cocker's one of your main influences, bro.
He's
you can
like
tell
Joe
when
Cocker,
you sing.
Solomon Burke, like guys like that, like, and then you gotta look at like guys like the Beatles going and they're plucking stuff from like Arthur Alexander, guys that are recording in Muscle Shoals in like the early 60s.
They're putting people out.
And Rolling Stones are plucking stuff like that from those same artists. Those early Black American artists, and it's like this interesting cyclical influence wheel that goes around.
Did you ever see the Rolling Stones before they toured with like all like the black bands?
Are you talking about black and white era Rolling Stones? Or covers almost.
Where they sound.
Jagger's like, you asked me to give up the hand.
Yeah, where they sound like they're just covering Beatles songs. Where they sound like they're covering Beatles songs?
They're covering shit like Arthur Alexander in a Beatles style.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they toured with the black bands, and they're like, whoa, we can do this?
Yeah, they got some flavor.
Like, yeah, man. Yeah, you can play however you want.
That's where most of their influence came from.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Southern and Midwestern Black American music, blues, Southern blues, like all that shit, influenced the English wave that influenced the American waves to follow. Like, it's just, like I said, it's this weird little... amazing
cyclical thing, yeah.
I love that shit.
But Linkin Park, though, better than the Beatles. Fucking like shoot myself.
It
doesn't. It's like you're telling me there's people out there that are like, 1 + 1 = 3, and I'm like, no, that shit doesn't make sense.
Those people exist.
Oh, there's flat, bro.
I just want to take a log. It's 11:50 and I'm drunk now.
Yeah.
I'm baked to the gills, and I have a nice buzz on from this room.
I'm full of lots of water and have to pee. That's it.
I drank some water too.
But man, what was your other thing besides that terrible Linkin Park thing that I can't get out of my
Oh yeah,
brain.
what was the other?
Like I know it exists now, and it won't ever leave my brain. Thank you.
But yeah, those people are out
uh,
there. That's like a whole thing. That's like a whole internet thing.
Really?
People think that Linkin Park are better than the Beatles.
I live on the internet.
Wow,
This
that's
must be
weird.
an extremely small group of people.
I'll show you.
Yes.
I'll show
Show
you.
me.
They're
I
out-
will
they're
literally
out there.
like.
Mike is stymied and flabbergasted.
I will literally like go note for note why that's incorrect with somebody on the internet. Like timing, everything, anything,
Everything.
everything. Yes, everything. Note by note, instrument by instrument, vocal note by vocal note. I will go on a musical diatribe with somebody of why they are wrong. Just
On the
flat out
subject of
wrong.
music, to pivot but stay on music. Number one music documentary that you would recommend to somebody?
Cool.
I know mine.
I know mine.
Give it, go.
Mine would be Low Desert Sound, which
What's
is
it?
about Low Desert Sound.
Okay, Low Desert Sound.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's about the desert scene in
Josh
California.
Homme?
With-
Josh
yep.
Homme. I love
Damn
that.
straight. It's my
That is,
Jesus.
he is my favorite musician.
Josh Homme is
Yeah.
my Jesus.
Yeah,
He's my Jesus.
Dude, this is why we need to be friends. I literally, like, he fucking flipped. Like, I thought I had my
He's a bad
idea.
motherfucker for
Yeah,
sure.
I
But
thought I had an idea of what I like to do, like playing individual notes, right? And I like Queens of the Stone Age. I like Caius, right? I like all that stuff. I like Eagles of Death Metal, all of this shit. And then I was watching something like where they were like going over technically how he plays, and it like fucking
But
flipped.
he's amazing.
Yeah, it flipped half of what I knew on its head, and I was like, I have tools now just from watching him. He's doing simplistic shit that is sonically fucking individual to him. Really, it's
Yeah, no,
crazy,
He's incredible. He's
dude. I
incredible.
love his shit.
so what does the doc encompass? So is it specifically about a region?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
Death
about
Valley.
how like they made a whole scene. Like they're in Palm Springs, California, which was made as this like touristy getaway for LA, like
For-
the LA money.
it's actually the town that serviced the Salton Resort town.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Salton Sea,
the
okay.
salt the sea
So like
went away.
they,
Yeah,
they made a music community basically out of boredom. And then there was like nowhere to play, so they would go out into the desert and they found this abandoned nudist colony where there was an
Wow.
empty swimming pool. So they would set up like a stage at the edge of this empty swimming pool and people would skate and they would bring generators out into the middle of the desert and they would have these parties out there.
some of
and they would
those
have these
stills.
shows.
Some of
That's
the
awesome.
stills from those shows are amazing. It's literally like
Amazing.
Josh
Awesome.
Homme playing with Caius when he's 14 fucking years old in the middle
Yeah.
of that swimming pool, and people are just like skating like this close to his fucking face
It's
while he's
so
just
cool.
yeah, dude. It looks amazing. They invented the stoner and stoner metal genre in
Oh,
the
for
80s.
sure.
There, right
And,
there
like,
in the desert.
And they were grunge before grunge was
Yes.
even a thought, dude. And
that
like
was the
that's when you realize that like Dave Grohl made Josh Homme.
No.
Like,
I have an insider story about their friendship.
give it to me.
Dude, so you know how Dave Grohl played drums on and off for Queens of the Stone Age before
Yeah.
they were like big, right? And like Everlong was the song that put fucking Foo Fighters on the map. So
Right.
Dave Grohl is recording drums for Queens of the Stone Age. Nobody knows who they are except for like West Coast people, right? They record like 40 songs. And Josh is like, we're using these 10 or 13 or whatever, right? And Dave Grohl's like, what are you going to do with these songs? He's like, throw them in the trash. Because, you know, Josh, he's like, I don't want them. Fucking throw them away. That's just how he is, right? And Dave
Yeah.
Grohl's like, all right, I'm going to take this one. And he's like, what? And he's like, nothing. Everlong was a song that he took. Oh. So,
I didn't know that.
Everlong, huge in movies. Foo Fighters, giant. He just dodges Josh for like 3 or 4 years, right? And Queens of the Stone Age since has become a big band too, and he's like, fuck. So like he purposely like schedules shows so they don't cross paths. So there's a mystery band playing right after the Foo Fighters in this one show in Texas. And They're like, thank you, good night. And as he's walking off the stage, Josh is like, hello, Dave. And he's like, hello. And he's like, hey, I know what you did. I'm not mad at you. We're still friends. You should call me. I just want you to know, I don't want anything, but I can call you whenever, wherever, to be in any one of my dumb bands, or you will fly out to the middle of the desert to record anything I want at any time. And Dave's like, okay, done.
Yeah, because he plays drums for them Crooked Vultures.
Them Crooked Vultures, too. That's the next part of the story. Years go by, right? Because this is still early in Queens of Stone Age and Foo Fighters, like, celebrity, right? The Foo Fighters are about to play Wembley Stadium for the first time. Dave Grohl's dream. Josh calls him up. He's like, cancel the rest of your tour. He's like, I'm about to go. Because remember, when the Foo Fighters were playing England and he was about to play Wembley Stadium for the first time, they canceled the last half of their tour randomly. Right. He's like, no, you're coming to this festival in Texas. We're going to meet John Paul Jones. And he's like, he's like, but I'm going to, my dream. And he's like, Everlong. Boom, hangs up the phone. Whatever. Josh cancels, or Dave cancels the tour. Comes to Texas. They meet John Paul Jones. And Josh is like, hey, man, we should form a band with Dave playing drums. And John Paul Jones is like, yeah, man, that's cool. And then they do Them Crooked Vultures. And that's the whole reason why Dave Grohl had to quit that, because he took Everlong from Josh. Josh is like, you just owe me whenever. And he made him cancel the second half of his dream tour to go play with John Paul Jones and Them Crooked Vultures, which honestly is not a bad deal. Like, no, it's not. It's not a bad deal. But I love that thing. Everybody, like, I love having that insider information because, like, I toured with some bands for a while, too. And I actually had a similar story to the one that you were talking about, the band camp in the middle of Kansas. I was touring with this band. It was like a hardcore band, and we were going from, like, Colorado down to the East Coast, like, yeah, the southeast coast. And we had to go through Kansas, and we were playing this show. And, like, we got the address, and we went to, like, the address on the map, but the address was the middle of a fucking cornfield. And we pull off to the side of the road where they gave us the coordinates to go. Yeah. And there was a little clearing, and, like, people just start coming out of the corn. And we're like, ha! And they're like, oh, man, we're so glad that you guys are playing this show. Nobody ever comes out here. It's great. What do you need? And then we're like, well, like, we're in the middle of a fucking cornfield. And they're like, we'll be right back. They, like, literally go into the cornfield. And I didn't put it together until Andrew told me they probably had, like, an underground bunker. They literally built, like, a stage, and they had, like, stadium lights. And they were bringing out bleachers and fucking a bar and alcohol and shit. But they were just going into the cornfield and coming out with everything. We literally played one of the best shows I ever played. It was like 300 people showed up middle of a cornfield in Kansas in the middle of the night. Like 300, dude, 400 people. It was great,
compound,
dude.
I would have a cornfield around that bitch.
Yeah, and like you said, they paid us, they fed us, and I woke up in this married lady's bed, and like it was crazy, dude. Yeah, like
that's rock and roll right there.
Yeah, man. It was fucking great. That was when I was singing for a hardcore band. It was fun.
So, Mike, what's your number one music documentary pick?
Oh, I watch it all the time. It's I Wish You Were Here, the Pink Floyd. The Pink Floyd documentary. Dude, it's great because it literally gives you like almost everything you need to know about Pink Floyd, like their history up to that point. The history about Syd Barrett, and then like how they literally wrote that album pretty much like as a dedication to him, and then he fucking shows up in the middle of the recording and he's like bald, fat, and like, but also looks malnourished because he's like only been doing acid and not eating and then binging, and like he's literally a crazy person at this point, you know? Like it's just, and it's like you feel the music harder of that album after you watch it. It's a great documentary. Also, I love Pink Floyd. Woo!
Pink Floyd.
Who doesn't love Pink Floyd?
Yeah.
Pink
Idiots?
Shit.
I don't know.
Communists.
That's great. You fucking communists don't like Pink Floyd. I've been posting a lot of Pink Floyd song lyrics on Facebook. You saw that, right? Like, you didn't know that was one that was a Pink Floyd. Because
I can't believe I can't.
Dude, that is a fucking line from the '60s, and it rings true today. It's fucking crazy.
How it always goes. Speaking of the '60s,
it's crazy.
The doc I would recommend would be Muscle Shoals, and it talks about Fame Studios and the Swampers, the rhythm section that fucking played there, and how they recorded hits with people like Percy Sledge from When a Man Loved a Woman to Aretha Franklin, the Respect track and the fucking Never Loved a Man track, and people like Clarence Carter.
It's free if
and
you have Amazon
fucking-
Prime. I just looked it up.
Fucking, well, there you go. And fucking Clarence Carter, and just so many, all the way down to the first recording of Freebird was done in that fucking place when Greg Allman convinced Wilson Pickett to do a fucking cover of Hey Jude, and it's the goddamn. And let me tell you something. Again, Beatles super important, but it's just like how Jimi Hendrix took all along the Watchtower and made it a whole different thing. You listen to Wilson Pickett's fucking version of Hey Jude, and you tell me what the best version of fucking Hey Jude is. And I love McCartney's version of Hey Jude, but Wilson Pickett is just the way he just like spits the words out at you. Like, you know when a boxer gets hit and you see a fucking cloud of sweat blow off their body?
Hell yeah.
When Wilson Pickett sings, you see those clouds of spit in his explosion of his vocal. It's like super forceful, and fucking when he's singing Hey Jude, it's like fucking whoa. You don't imagine, and with all the Allman fucking guitar, like shit, dude. Hey, like, and so that doc, they go all the way into like the Stones go there, and Bono, and fucking Steve Winwood, and fucking like all these different and these iconic songs are all recorded in this one fucking spot. Like, and so that's my, and it's like 4 hours from my house. I've been wanting to get a couple of dudes together and go check it out. You can, it's like Alfred. You can go record in that bitch.
Nice.
I'm gonna take Mike Morrison over there.
Fuck yeah.
You should.
Speaking of like places that have recorded legendary stuff, so my buddy Dustin's place, DB Studios here in Boynton. So like he has gear there from like some of the old Miami studios that have recorded like Elton John and fucking Carlos Santana and fucking Gloria Estefan, awesome. Beyonce, Jay-Z, like everybody like has recorded through like some of his gear. So I want to plug them because they're fucking awesome. More bands should go record there because like right now his bread and butter is like local, you know, like with most studios.
He was super cool to Morrison and I.
Yeah,
he was super cool to us. Hooked us up. You know what I mean? Gave us a lot of insight.
Great place. He has literally like he has recording equipment that should be in like $1 million studios just because he's like worked in the business for so long now. And it's funny because he's like younger than us, but he's like, and he's also well respected. He's won a Grammy for engineering. Like, the dude's legit as fuck. Yeah, man. Yeah. And it just sucks because like a lot of bands that go there either like try to undercut him or whatever. I don't know. Like, it's just, you know how recording goes. Like, he's literally
how
like
the whole
recording.
Business can go.
Yeah. He
I
actually.
Feel like we're really lucky to have a little community like we have.
Yeah.
Of good people that look out for each other because.
I feel like
it's a cutthroat, weird little fucking business and world.
Yeah. I feel like this is not my business to put out, but like he did a bunch of free shit for DJ Khaled before he got big and didn't get paid till recently.
Well, at least he did get paid eventually, right?
It was after all like DJ Khaled was talking shit about all the people that said that he owed money to, and then like 200 people came forward and they're like, "Yo, we're still waiting to get paid." Yeah,
well, you know,
we're still waiting to get paid from 2010, and then he just started paying people. He's like, "Oh man, I didn't think." He's like, "I didn't think y'all would come out." He's like, "I didn't think y'all would come out at the same time together." And they're like, "Yeah, it's a lot of money though. Like we put all of our time and effort into making you big, and then you didn't pay nobody back." Anyway, they're all good now. They're all good now, but yeah.
As long as he's squared up. As long as he's squared up. Old Khaled.
Old DJ Khaled.
Ugh.
Right? It's like Khaled.
I wish everybody.
Like DJ Khaled.
I wish everybody. Yeah, he looks like he should be saying DJ Khaled. I wish everybody down here was like, what's that guy that used to do shows at that Spanish club on Forest Hill across from the fireworks store? Pitbull?
Yeah, Pitbull.
Pitbull is like the most legit dude ever.
Mr. Worldwide.
Dude, that guy is nice as fuck.
Mr. 305.
Dude, yeah, but he fucking did shows at fucking West Palm like every day or whatever, from what I heard. I heard he was like in West Palm more than he was in Miami for a while. That's just what everybody told me growing up around here. Before he was like super.
I don't remember him being around there, but
I don't know.
It's possible.
Yeah, that's all. That's also the other thing, dude. West Palm's fucking huge, man.
Yeah, West Palm is humongous. Dude. Like, it's crazy that I live in basically Loxahatchee, but my address is West Palm Beach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy that people live out in Indiantown and they're fucking in Palm Beach County. That's 45 fucking minutes away from
Palm Beach
the
County is the
center.
largest county east of the Mississippi River.
It is. It is. I fucking tell people that and they're like, no, it's got to be like Miami. Like, no, square footage, it is the fucking largest. We have the most exits. For all you people in New Jersey, how many exits? We were talking about that on the last show, too.
The
like,
most, bitch.
Yeah.
The most.
Dude, like, Florida is what America used to be and what America should strive to be like now.
The most
Wow.
Florida thing happened to me on the 4th
Wow.
of July. We played a show at Crazy Uncle Mike's, and my girlfriend works there. We were heading back to my house, and we ran over a baby gator, and then like right after that, we almost hit a boar.
Oh God, yeah.
And
Well, I mean, you live in Loxahatchee, yeah. That's that is. Well, they were probably
Florida is
scared
smart.
because it was the 4th of July. They were running all over the road, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might have been, yeah, that's right on.
That's my Florida story. My favorite Florida story too is the Wendy's by Palms West Hospital. I think it was like my freshman year of college. Somebody got into like an argument with the drive-through employee, and the person the person that threw the gator through the window. They were
Dude, I
like,
love-
"Fuck you!"
I
Threw a
love that.
whole ass gator
Yeah,
through
that
the
kid
window.
that kid did jail time because they're like that's
He sure did.
technically assault with a deadly
with
weapon.
a deadly weapon. Yeah,
Bro, you
an
want to
alligator.
hear a fucking Florida story?
Fucking killer.
Boynton Inlet. This is back like my high school years. Okay? Fucking, like just after high school, I'm like 17, 18. We'd go down to the fucking Boynton Inlet on the jetty. When the tide would drop, there'd be crabs all over the jetty. And my homeboy was like big into fishing of all kinds, shark fishing, all that shit. So he would be like, hey, this time of year we go get these kind of crabs so we get to eat kind of thing. So we would go down there, shimmy down the side of the fucking jetty and get out a bunch of crabs in a bucket. And one day we're down there doing it. And sometimes when the tide would go down, fish would get caught on the fucking top of the jetty and shit. And fucking, you could nab them up if they were like fresh and shit. And not even, some of them wouldn't even be dead. They'd be flopping around. And you sometimes, be dead for a while and stink. And we smelled like a bad smell. And we fucking went around the front of the jetty. And a bum had been sleeping in a little alcove. And I guess during the tide, he fucking went in there when it was low and knocked out. And the tide rose. And he just was in that bitch. And when we went there, he was just like all fucking inflated and shit. And we're just like, "Ugh," and my homeboy threw up. And we all
Oh,
ran
you
out
want
of
to
that
see a
bitch.
dead body?
And
Oh
my
no.
homeboy called the cops on his fucking Nokia brick in his dad's car and fucking was like, there's a body under the jetty, da da da. And then they were like, what's your name, whatever. And he's like, ah. And he just hung up and just fucking got the fuck out of there. And that
Damn, bro.
that's Florida to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like,
Y'all had
for real.
y'all had a rando knot experience.
Yeah. Dude, when people try to tell me like that driving is bad where they're from, I tell them my tame Florida story. I mean, I bet I have other good Florida stories, but like this is my one when people try to complain to me about driving in any other state. When I moved down here, because like I moved down here 3 different times. The second time I moved down here, I was driving on the on-ramp off of Forest Hill onto 95, going north, and there was a Haitian lady with a bicycle and her little basket and her bell, and she was just ringing the bell, waving people to go around her, yelling in Creole. And I was just like,
Chocolate French.
but she was going on 295 on her bicycle in the lane. She wasn't off onto the side. She was in the lane. She was like, ding, 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 ding. And I was like, what the hell? Where did I move to? Yeah, so that's my Florida story.
When you live in Florida long enough, though, you see shit on a regular basis that it doesn't shock you. It's either funny or just weird or whatever,
Yeah.
or you just don't even care. Like,
Yeah.
I remember I'm driving.
That was my
with
first
brother
day I
and
had
sister.
moved back. I saw
I'm on
that.
Calle Ocho in Little Havana, right near Palacio de los Jugos, and we're driving through Little Havana, and all of a sudden this old homeless guy in like it's like 100 degrees, fucking Florida, and he's in a gray blazer with big horn rim glasses and pants pulled up to his chest, but no shirt underneath, and they have those big concrete pebble encrusted garbage cans that are stuck into the sidewalk, and they have these huge fiberglass toppers that cover them, and they have like ports on either side to put
Like
the trash in.
80s, yeah.
And he starts whipping the lids, and they're like every 100 feet or whatever. He's just whipping the lids into fucking packed traffic, and nobody does shit. Nobody flinches. Nobody gives a fuck. One other old guy just starts picking the lids up and putting them back on. It was like fucking Miami. What are you gonna do? Like fucking, that's how it is. Like you just get used to Florida shit.
I remember
chickens in the road.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that shit.
I remember
I seen a barbecue on I-95. I seen a barbecue on 826. I seen people stop in a traffic jam and motherfuckers break out a barbecue like they have plans to be there.
I remember I was working at this one place, like where I basically was working online, and we have like online meetings, and like some dumb reason, like the subject of politics came up, and they're like, this one kid lived in Miami, and they're like, "What's it like?" And he's like, "I don't know, man. It's crazy. I don't know how to describe it." And I was like, "I have a specific situation that happened to me," and they're like, "Okay." And I was like, "Yeah, I was in Miami, and I was in the wrong part of town or whatever, and I was like, excuse me, can you like give me directions?" And then like it was this Haitian person, and they got mad at me for not speaking like Creole or Spanish to them, either one. And then they tapped the Spanish guy, and they're like, "Can you believe this guy doesn't speak Spanish?" And it was a Cuban guy, and he's like, "This is America, he should be able to speak English." And they got into a fight in front of me, and the Cuban guy just mercilessly beat the Haitian guy, and while he was yelling at him like what seemed to me at the time a right-wing political rant, and everybody that I was working with, they're like, "It's not like that." And then the Cuban kid that I was working with, he's like, "No, that's right, that happens." He's like, "That actually happened to me at the gas station. I speak Spanish, but people got into a fight." And I was like, it's weird as fuck, and it's like a political war zone of like, Cubans don't fucking take no shit. That's what I told him. And I'm like, and it's an extremely blue, blue county. And I'm like, that's why I try to hang out with Cubans, because they don't give no fucks, man. You guys don't care. Huh? Because I'm not a bitch. I was telling Andrew this on the last podcast, or we were just talking about it. I need to learn like the Cuban dialect. Because like I grew up in California, like around Mexicans. I've grown up like also with like a lot of like South American people. Like when they speak Spanish, I'm like, yeah, they're just speaking Spanish. When a Cuban person is talking to me, I'm like, this person is gonna fucking take me on an adventure if I just hang out with them long enough. We're gonna party, we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna do some great drugs. It's gonna be a fucking great time. And like I'm not gonna feel like I'm in danger, you know.
I always tell people the Cuban dialect is to Spanish what the Jamaican dialect is to English. We have our own versions. You add ando to the end of any English word.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Chileando, tapeando.
We came up with another good comparison. Yeah, we came up with another good comparison though. Damn it.
What's that?
We came up with like another good comparison though too. It's like languages.
Oh,
damn
like
it.
Cajun Creole.
Yeah, Cajun Creole. Yeah, that's the thing. Like Creole, I'm like,
yeah,
you're speaking another language. Yeah, okay, you're speaking Portuguese. Yeah, but then like Creole, like when that guy that looks like he should be on the fucking Swamp People TV show, he's like, "Come on, we want to have a good time on there." You're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get laid. I'm gonna go like fuck one of this dude's sisters, and it's gonna be great." Like.
Once he's done fucking one of his
sisters. Once
he's
done fucking her, like, I'm gonna fuck this dude's sister right after he's done fucking her. Like, and we're gonna have a great time. Yeah, that's man. Hilarious. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I never had a bad time. You know what?
My favorite shit to do in Miami, like deep in Miami, either my bandmates when I was in the band FLA, they were all white, and either that or when I was still with some of my training partners that were white, back when I would be competing. We could go to like a gas station in Little Havana or in Southwest or somewhere that's just all Latino and give them like a 20 and be like, get 2 Dutches, 1 pastelito de guava, 1 pastelito de carne, and put the rest in the tank. And then just watch them in the window to try and fucking figure out all this shit. Pointing and fucking like, God, no, over here. Like,
we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Favorite shit to do of all time in Miami. And just watch that shit unfold. And my boy Gabe, who was my bass player and also was a guy who trained back in the day when we were fighting, travel around fucking town to town throughout the whole southeastern region, fucking, and that was my favorite shit to do with him because he was like the most like gesticulated. He would fucking like get all fucking worked up and shit. Fucking that was my favorite. And that's the other thing too. You could take a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy to Miami. People are still gonna approach him and speak Spanish like that's his first language.
Yeah, yeah.
It's automatically assumed. That's my favorite shit to watch. White people get completely like discombobulated, like fucking with that shit. Where that's all of a sudden the norm. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand the white-black thing because I grew up in that slave.
No, I understand. What I want to know is like, so like, Cubans, you guys don't fucking fall for the haze of political bullshit, like regardless of what extreme,
I mean,
right?
Cubans in America, the Cubans in Cuba can't say shit about anything.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Cubans in America. Like Cubans are the American dream, like embodied, right? And like, most Cubans lean towards the right or are right wing, right? So
at least our age and older, I would say. If
you're definitely our age and older.
No, even like some of the younger kids are still saying like your
brother.
Well, like your brother will be like, listen, I agree with some of this shit, but fuck Che Guevara, you know, like all that shit, you know, like, and like his friends are being like, well, he said all these good things, and he's like, no. Like he's saying no to them,
I can't stand that shit, bro.
Yeah.
I'm glad he does.
Dude,
I'm proud of him.
Yeah, I fucking heart every time he's like, no, there's no gray area, and I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, man. But and I love that like their surprised reaction, like, oh, okay, like I didn't know, and he's like, that goes back to what I was saying, like, if there had to be like a fucking
like you too, Mike, where you said he's like you, where he's like on that part of the spectrum where he's like, oh no, and here's a bunch of fucking like sites and information, and I'm gonna give you a bunch of fucking shit to address and understand, like right here, boom, 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 boom.
But what I want to know is, so then like, what I feel like the people that have seen the worst shit and that say this place is the freest country, right? Choose like a side.
Russians, Slovakians,
and all choose
Croatians.
Like, and I'm not saying one side's better than the other, but they all choose the opposite side of socialism, communism, right? And,
of course.
And the people on the extreme left will call all the white people that hang out with Cubans, right? That have the same ideals politically, socially, everything, right? Economically. They'll call the white people racist, but they won't call the Cuban people racist because, you know, person of color.
It's a brown pass. It's a weird brown pass that people give out.
I don't understand, though. Like, you can accept
you know how many times
the Cuban position, but the white guy that has the same position has to be a racist.
But you know how many times I've said something and they look at my profile picture and I'm like, or whatever, and they say like,
you posted
that, and they see my last name and then they fucking, I'm sorry. I've seen that happen to Mike Morrison a bunch of times as well.
Mike posts that shit all the time.
Where it's like, yo, like fucking. My favorite is when white ladies try and champion some cause, and then you say some shit like, "Hey, like, we're good." You know what I mean? Like, and then they try and tell you something about what you should fucking be feeling. It's like it blows my mind, bro. I've seen one about sugar skulls. Like people get mad about sugar skulls, Cinco de Mayo decorations and shit.
Why?
Where it's like, yo, Mexicans will party with everybody, just so you know.
Yeah.
They're good people. They're fun.
Listen, like, I partied with plenty of Mexicans. I felt like I was in danger 50% of the time, though. That was the only thing. That was the only thing.
You want to talk about evenly chastising?
I've been shot by a Mexican woman too. Maybe that skews
my. The right
my.
fucks up with the Latino voter populace. They could take the whole Mexican voter pool and pull them to the right so easy. I say do this, and you know what? Like a lot of people on the right that are or like center right agree with me. All the people that are like fuck America, burn America to the ground. They're like, the usual person on the right's like, well, then fucking leave. I'm like, no, let's take it a step further. Cheese stick, what's up?
You should, if you hate America, if you hate America and are so vocally anti-American to the point where people are like telling you to leave, I think that you should not only leave, you should give all of your shit to the people at the border that want to get in so badly.
Right.
And
I agree.
Dude, it's the most confusing thing ever because all those people want all the people at the border to get in, but all the people that at the border that want to get in disagree with them on every fundamental level and politically, and the Republicans who don't want to let them in are the people that they agree with on every single fucking level. Andrew and I have talked about this like at length. It's like the biggest oxymoron is the border issue because
growing up in a Latino family, it's like family, God, and country. Those are like really important tenets.
Like,
and I think
gay people supporting those people
that's
coming.
by a lot of Latino, by a lot of Republican.
Dude, gay people
leadership.
that support open borders for the people trying to get in on the South blow my mind. They blow my mind just as much as women that support the Muslims in the Middle East. It's like, do you not fucking understand that they want you enslaved and you are like you have a lower value than a goat? And then the gay people that support all the people coming in through I'm like, do you understand that in some of their cultures they would like to burn you in the street? Like, that's a legit thing. Like, who the fuck? Like, do you not read? Do you just say whatever your fucking political side tells you to say?
A lot of people say what they think is cool to say. Like,
yo, Andrew, I got something for you to see.
What's that?
So right now I'm in my bedroom right now. So this room used to be my sister's room. It was painted like purple and yellow. So I made it my own. And when I was decorating it, I told my girl that behind the bed I wanted to put black and white pictures of musicians. And so I'm gonna pick one for my side and you pick one for your side. So I'm gonna show you the musicians that watch me sleep.
Exciting.
So number one, this is what my girl picked.
Great pick.
Mr. Prince. So as a front man, supreme entertainer.
Great pick.
Right? Prince.
I have a funny story about him and Michael Jackson. Go ahead.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yes.
And then over here,
what kind of
my number one influence as a guitarist. I think I want to see if either one of you can call it. Ready? You know that guy?
Is that Freddie the Cannonball King?
You're goddamn right. That's
Fucking
Freddie Cannonball King.
Fuck yeah.
Bro, nobody knows who that guy is.
Going down!
Bro,
That
right?
motherfucker is
Eastbound
a
and
bad motherfucker, bro.
Well, you want to know what's one of the things I love about him the most, and I make this comment all the time, that in that time of the blues artists, you have the three kings. You know, you have Freddie King, B.B. King, Albert King.
Yeah.
The only one that ever made a big deal about their band, you know, because like when you went to go and see that show, it wasn't Albert King and the blank band. You went to go see Albert King.
Yeah,
you know, Freddie King always made a huge deal about his band, and like once per set, there would always be like a part of the set where like every bandmate would like take a solo like during a jam.
Show love, like old school, yeah.
Like old school jazz, yeah.
Yeah, so like I always like not only did I appreciate his playing and his singing, I think he's the best singer out of the three of them. But like that love for his bandmates though. It's like even though he was the star of the show, he went so above and beyond. He had the
most powerful vocal out of the Three Kings for sure.
Absolutely.
Without question.
Absolutely.
Like force, but also like melody, like.
Well, like to hear, there's a video of him.
Was a good like everything else about BB was great. Everything else about Albert was great. But when on that level, can't fuck with Freddie.
No, the best singer out of the three of them by far was Freddie, bro. Like there's a live video of him singing. I think it's 1970 is the year, and he's in Sweden, and it's a video of him doing "Have You Ever Loved a Woman," and it's like a 3-minute instrumental intro. And then there's like a big break, and he just like belts out, "Have you ever loved a woman?" Bro, like, it sounds like he gargles with gravel stones.
Nice,
bro.
Like, it's just fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Nice.
And like, I owe so much of my influence, not only as a songwriter but as a guitarist, to like those guys.
Yeah, that era is
those guys.
Bro.
There was no pedals, no effects. It was plugged straight into the fucking amp, and what you got was what you got.
Don't look at my pedal board, then.
I appreciate the fact that
I'll show you my pedal board right now.
Bro, that kind of music, I think, is undervalued by the current generation of musicians, man. It's important to look at those motherfuckers. Those are like the gods of what we fucking try and do.
Yeah. They were the birth of rock and roll, man.
Yeah, they were really we should all light candles to those motherfuckers. Like.
But the thing to me is like they were the first guys, and a little bit before them, before the Three Kings. You go back to like Little Richard time, where it was like the independent like black artists, where it was like this
Ray
is
Charles, bro, like
James Brown. Oh, dude. James Brown.
You want to talk about epic frontman energy,
James Brown.
James Brown. He
Bro,
could do a whole fucking set of going like, huh, ha,
Andrew,
Yeah.
have you ever seen have either one of you ever seen the Flyers? The band The Flyers from down here?
No.
Bro. They do a cover of the Payback, Big Payback.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like the frontman is Jubin. Their frontman is Jubin, Patrick Farinas.
My daughter.
Bro, he's probably the best guitarist in South Florida. I like Patrick Farinas. Bro, so fucking good. They're playing at Crazy Uncle Mike's on Saturday.
Isn't it amazing how fucking many great fucking acts come out of that fucking spot?
Dude.
Yeah.
Fucking
actually,
shit.
I've literally played all over the country, and I've literally been all over the world, and it's very strange to me.
Another one.
Yeah, the cheese. It's really strange
cheese.
to me how in this county, not like, I'm not including Broward or Miami, just in Palm Beach County, how many amazingly talented and unique artists there are in this county. Also, another thing too, like working with my buddy Dustin, there's a lot of people that have sold songs to giant acts that live in Palm Beach County. Like,
oh yeah,
people that want like a summer hit will come down here and like go through the list of songwriters and be like, let me look at your catalog. What do you got for sale? Like, there's tons of, like, the random person that's like buying drinks for everybody at the bar. You're like, what are you doing? They're like, I just sold a song for like $100,000. It's like, excuse me, like, and I got points.
It happens,
dude. Like, it happens more. Dude, there's two things that are really strangely weighted in Palm Beach County. The amount of amazing musicians and artists that come from here, and people that have sold top 10 songs for the past like 50 years. Also, for the past 50 years, 10% of the NFL comes out of Belglade and Pahokee, which are technically in unincorporated Palm Beach County.
The third world country out there.
Dude,
So
that's a fucking weird thing.
I can talk about
this county.
The muck. I can talk about the muck.
The muck, yeah, man, dude. My buddy used to play for the Patriots. You probably know him. He's the drummer. He's like 6'10". He plays drums for the Gutter Tones.
Yeah, no, he played for the Packers. Brennan.
He played for the Packers. Yes, he played for the Packers. Got hurt by Warren Sapp, and then fucking got traded to the Patriots. Yeah, man, that was like I you know how him and Hunter had that place. I had that place with him for like 4 years, and we had another place right across there.
Took over that place.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but we had the place across the way for like 2 years before that. But anyway,
Florida's always had a weird connection to the music industry in
man.
general. I think because of how many people vacation here.
Yeah.
Like,
and the richest people in the world live here.
So in Delray, there was a place called the Living Room in Boynton, and they did an open mic back in the day, and I was there with my band when I was in FLA, and do some covers, some jams, whatever. And then this dude, he's like, I got an ice cream shop. You should come just jam. I jam there all the time. And we're like, all right, cool. We don't have spots like a lot, so we were going. This is when we were first getting started. And we go down, and fucking, I remember we jammed there a couple times. And this dude who owns the place, his name is Jeff, super nice guy. He's like, I know a guy who's like used to be like a big shot in music, like fucking. I'm gonna tell him about you guys, and we're like, yeah, whatever. You know, people like to always like say shit when it comes to like how many people at a bar tell you they like did this or that with music, and you're like, yeah, okay, guy, like, cool.
Yeah,
like whatever, like I'm gonna get this fucking drink and be on my fucking way.
Yeah,
and like, so he tells me that shit, and then another time we come, this old dude is like really intently watching us. He's got that classic like soy sauce coloring in the hair, you know what I'm saying, and like the fucking open salmon shirt with the white cuffs on the sleeves rolled up, and the fucking linen shorts and the fucking loafers and a fucking watch, and a nice car, you know, and the hair is like thin, you can see the plugs, you know what I'm saying? And so this guy's like asking us a lot of questions, asking us about our set list, and she's like, can I see your set list? I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah, whatever. And it's me, my drummer my bass player just doing some like drums and percussion shit, and my guitar player. My bass player rides out, he has to leave. And me and my guitar player stay, do a couple more songs. And the old dude's like, you guys should come listen to some stuff I'm working on. And we're like, fuck, whatever. Oh, what? Okay, what are you talking about? And then the ice cream shop guy comes and says, hey, this is the guy I was telling you about. His name's George. And I'm like, okay. He's like, George Tobin's his name. I'm like, all right. So he goes, come in the car. And I don't know from cars, right?
Yeah.
So, like, we go in the car, and, like, we're leaning into this car, and he's, like, playing this song to us, and it's, like, this Spanish music. And he's like, this is what everybody's into right now. It's the Spanish market's blowing up. This is, like, early 2000s, mid-2000s. And he's like,
reggaeton.
why don't you guys come to my place, and we'll fucking jam? And I'm like, it's weird. It's like an old dude with, like, 3 fucking Florida goons tatted up. And Tom...
You always follow
Donuts.
that guy in Florida, though. You always take his
right.
offer.
That's always an adventure.
Yeah,
So
you
my
always
boy
take
Tommy
that
Donuts
offer in
is like,
Florida.
that dude's Porsche is like a really expensive Porsche. And my boy Jake, my guitar player, was like, yeah, I think that's a really crazy car. And I was like,
it's like the $1 million Porsche.
So
probably.
we all pile into my fucking boy Tom's fucking Ford Ranger. We follow this guy to one of those McMansions when you go all the way east.
In Boynton, right?
Delray, east and south of Delray Beach. And we go into this little mini mansion, and he's got this big, giant German Shepherd. And fucking, we're like, okay, that's why he's not afraid to fucking bring 3 goons and stuff. Now he's got this big, super trained murder wolf. And fucking, we're walking around, and, like, my boy Jake is, like, kind of, like, bugging out. I don't know from guitars.
Yeah.
But he's like, this guitar. Like, holy shit, that guitar, whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. This guy must be, like, a music buff or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we start seeing records. Smokey Robinson. Tiffany.
Oh shit, man! Yeah.
This guy George Tobin was like some producer. He's like, sing this, play that, sing this, and he's like, at the end of the night, he's like, big guy, I could do something with you. I'm not really interested in your band. Da, 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 da. And it was weird, and I just never followed up with him because I felt like I was loyal to my dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that band didn't work out or whatever. And so I always was like, yeah, maybe I should. But it was just a weird. Florida, fucking only in Florida kind of weird thing. It was like a vacation house hit or something. George Tobin, he produced, I think We're Alone Now, when Tiffany did that shit. He did a bunch of shit with Smokey Robinson, the Commodores, fucking Lionel Richie. Like, the motherfucker is like a legit legendary producer. We kicked it at his house. I might even still have his fucking number somewhere. But that dude, like, he was like, you got a voice. He's like, but you know, unless you could do X, Y, Z. He was like really like,
businessy.
Downplaying a lot of real businessy, but he straight up told my guitar player Jake, like, yeah, you know, you got whatever, bro. I don't, like what, and that I think actually sowed the seeds of the demise of that band. That was man, like the beginning of weird. You know what I mean? Started to happen after that. But
dude,
that Florida shit happens. Florida's weird like that.
Dude, and that's the whole thing too. Is like my buddy Dustin, like he actually works for bigger people. Like I said, like he fucking won a Grammy, and it's funny because like. When Mike took you there, Dustin was like, oh, yeah, man, I'll record whatever you want. Like, whatever, just come whenever. And then Mike's like, man, he doesn't offer to do any of my shit for free. It's like, you have, like, a real talent that people that work in the industry are like, yeah, I could make money off of you. That's that's a thing that you should, like, that's like 2 people now that 2 Grammy Award-winning people are just like, I'll record you for free, man. Like... That's a thing. You should.
That's what me and Mike, I guess, are doing.
You need to like, you need to like take advantage of that shit. That's 2 now in your lifetime. Well, number 1.
Time off to be a dad, bro. You know.
Yeah. Well, number 1, like you,
well, I'm back,
you came across. Yeah. Number 1, you came across 2 people that are like big in the industry that are like, yeah, I can fucking do shit with you. Like that. Number 1, that doesn't happen. Like you rarely run across the 1 person. Let alone like 2.
The wild thing that we've had in our favor too is Mike has this massive bench of people who've been wanting to work with him in our local music community. So he's literally like pulled a bunch of killers in to play different parts.
Yeah, I know. I saw
this album.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You've been working on stuff with him. So like, I'm just excited to be like a part of such a cool.
I'm not working on with stuff with you guys.
I thought you were working on guitar shit.
I told him whenever he's done, I'll do solos, but never contacted me. But no,
Dang.
Like, heartbroken. No, anyway, but what was I gonna say? Like, no, it was funny because when, like, he was like, "Oh, dude, Mike brought over this guy," and I was like, "I already know he's talking about you." He's like, "I'm gonna fucking we're gonna fucking do shit with this guy. I'm gonna record him. I'm gonna fucking sell songs or get big, whatever."
He was so monotone when I met him. I was like, "Oh, he must have not given a shit about what we were doing."
No, and then like he played you for 2 seconds. I'm like. That's the guy I do my podcast with. He's like, oh, really? I was like, yes. I was like, the reason that Mike took you here is because I told Mike to take him here. Like, it's like, this is like, he's like, oh man, he's gonna fucking like, we're gonna fucking do big shit.
Well, that day, I'm like, yo, that dude reminds me of No Veloso. And Mike's like, that's his fucking boy. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. And the funny story about that guy is, like, when I was working at Guitar Center, that kid was 12, right? And he used to come by with his band. You know that metal band Masticator, Mike? Mike, what's his face?
Dixon.
Mike Dixon, yeah. That's the original bass player for Masticator, is this kid that we're talking about. He's not a kid anymore, that runs that studio. Anyway, like him and Mike and their original drummer and their other guitar player would come in all the time, and they'd hang out with me because it was like me and one guy that worked in the stock room that listened to metal, and like they would just hang out with us. And then this kid Dustin, like when he was 12, he would just be like, "Hey, I heard you guys are having a party. Can I come over?" And I'm like, "Sure, dude. Here's the address." I was like, "This kid doesn't have a car. There's no way he's gonna get there." And then like he would come to my house parties. I was like 25 years old with this 12-year-old there, and people are like,
funny as shit.
they're like, but the great thing is like, he had like this is how I knew he was fucking cool. Like people would be like, "Hey, are you old enough to be there here?" And he's like, "Are you old enough to be here, faggot?" And they're like, "All right, okay, I'll just leave this kid
He's
alone."
one of those dudes too, though, who makes it. What he does, he makes his shit look easy. Like when he was shooting his shit in the studio,
he's
he
a
just
fucking
does it so
magician.
casually, where I'm like watching, like I don't know what the fuck is going
Dude.
on, man. I don't. That's the thing.
And I know what he's
favorite
doing.
trait about myself. I don't pretend to like know what the fuck. I'm not a motherfucker in the know about certain shit.
He's
I'm open.
Goddamn magician.
I'm watching him do his shit. I'm like, oh, like if there was a planet inhabited by me and he came down in a spaceship and did his shit on the boards, he could fucking rule the planet. Probably, I'd be like, oh, fucking
guys from Toy
turns
Story.
the switches and makes the sounds like fucking, like
yeah,
it's just dope, man.
He's literally like a fucking magician that like only the trap rap people know about for some reason. I mean, like he makes them sound good and they all sound terrible to me. But I mean, like, even just they sound terrible, and he's just like this. He'll literally be like, "Okay," and they're like, and they're like, "Oh, I sound like that," and he's like, "Oh no, you don't sound like that."
But that's exactly how he was in the studio. Like, we were like, "Is that good?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's good." And just like,
but no,
doing his shit, like.
But no, he does not say that. Is the thing. Like people will be like, "Was that good?" He'll be like, But if he says the words, "Yeah, that was good," it's like, "Oh shit," like.
Yeah, you never know how to read a person until you know him for a while.
Yeah.
He was a very cool dude, very nice. He hung out with us and shot the shit for a while afterwards. Like, it was a very cool experience to work with.
We have a lot of the same mannerisms, which is why I like hanging out with him.
He totally reminded me of you. I said that to Mike as we were leaving there. We're like going to get some grub. I'm like, that dude reminded me of Novolozo, I think. And he's like, that's his boy. I was like,
Yeah, boys, I don't want to spoiler you, but my phone is at 5%.
Oh,
no, it's all right, man. It's already
yeah.
midnight 30. It's been a great show. We've been on for like 3 hours, I feel like.
All right, so 3 hours, 30 minutes, 44 seconds.
So when are you playing at Uncle Mike's?
Yeah, we're playing at Crazy Uncle Mike's tomorrow or tonight-ish, I guess. Friday night, we're at Crazy Uncle Mike's 7 to 11.
Awesome.
And then Saturday night, we're at Matthews.
And that's going to be streaming, right?
Yep, Crazy Uncle Mike's will be live streaming.
I linked that in the description below, and I also linked all of your streaming platforms on there. I linked your Facebook page. It's all on there.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I love what you do, man. I love watching you guys do your thing, so I can't wait to see what the fuck is next that you guys are bringing out, and fucking I'm super excited to be around you the next time I can and maybe even fucking jam together.
I have to agree, dude. Like, you're one of my favorite people that I've met in Florida. When I made that post, that I was like, you literally, where I put it where you requested to be my friend.
Yeah.
I was like, this is literally one of the best days I've had on Facebook in years. Like, it's usually just a fucking just shit after shit after bullshit, fucking assholes and fucking calling me all the names. And then I was just like, oh, that was like a fucking great day. Let's end this so we can talk to him about this shit before his phone dies.
Well, it's wonderful we can build our tribe. Thank you for guys coming joining us on the LSD Podcast, the Lonely Screen Delicatessen channel. Check us out again next Thursday. As always, we will be here bringing you whatever point of view we're mustering that day. Take it easy. Love you.
Subscribe, share, Patreon, shirts, all the things. Support Sons of a Tradesman. All right.
Yes. Support your local artists and musicians and so forth.
All right.